into me. God damn.
Do it.
Fucking aim for the ace. I'm gonna pour all my passion into you.
What is the reason of me being your coach? Bitch, let me tell you something. You didn't do shit. You just tortured the poor girl until she learned something by
Yeah, that's how you coach people.
In Japan,
Obviously, Hickey.
Just go fucking, eventually you'll learn to hit this ball. If I take this tennis ball and I just hit it at your face repeatedly, eventually you'll learn to return it so not to get hit in the face by it.
Be smart like all the other kids and move out of the way.
No.
Like knocking out and the opponent is a valid thing in aim of the ace.
Not only is it a valid thing, it's the go-to thing to do.
Yeah, it's actually the go-to thing. I was like, okay.
I like it though. It's just like we're gonna go all out and attack the newbie, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And then they just keep hitting her with balls, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like, are you trying to also fucking break her arm or something?
How else would you tennis?
I don't know. By being better.
I guess that would be great.
I love the scene when fucking Ochofujin is playing Oran, and she fucking smashes her hand on the ground. I'm like, why would you go for that ball when it's so low? Fucking take it after the bounce. What's wrong with you?
Okay, that's connected.
Also, I need to know. In tennis, if the ball touches the ground 2 times, that's a point. That's a point, right?
Yes.
Yes. So what about them with that fucking tornado serve? That shit hit the ground multiple times.
Oh, we'll get
on its way.
We'll get to the serves for sure.
That was the only episode. Sort of. Because like they twist around and hit the ball, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Odin serve has a little bit of gimmick to it because of the time. I mean, it's 70 something, and was it in the 60s where that woman won a game against a man first time because the man was talking trash to her and saying she will never beat a man, and she was like, "Okay, come get me." She won. There's a movie about.
I believe that was 1968.
Yeah. So yeah, it's in the same time period, and then you had the beginning of the changing women's sport perspective. In that time.
Right, let's save that for the review for sure.
Okay, they talk about it in the. I don't need to talk about it right now. I guess.
No. All right, so everything's connected.
Lights, camera, action.
You guys ready?
I was born ready.
Okay.
I think.
I am never ready. I just roll with.
3, 2, 1, go. And we're live! Red Leaf Retrocast Anime Edition, episode 34. Yet another fantastic episode ahead. I'm your host, JD, joined here with my good buddies. Hickey, how you doing, my guy? Good guy?
I'm doing great. Great.
And my other co-host, the best host, the only host, Tori. How you doing?
The only host, huh? I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good episode today, naturally. We got summer anime reviews. So if you're here for that, you should be very excited. And if you're watching a live stream, welcome. You can find us on Red Leaf Retrocast, YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, Periscope, all those outlets. And find this podcast on all your favorite podcasting outlets, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. Go ahead. Don't forget, leave us a review if you like the episode on Stitcher or iTunes. Probably read it on the show. Summer animes we're going to be covering here is, oh boy, all right, Asobase, is that right, Tori? How do I pronounce that?
Asobase.
Okay, cool. Anglomoy.
Anglomois.
Anglo-Moise. Happy Sugar Life. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for that one. Hickey's going to bring us into Hanabato, Steins Gate Zero, and Revu Starlight. And then I got Lupin 5, Cells at Work, and Grand Blue. And we got some quick series thoughts, shows that aren't ending this season, but are continuing. The longer ones. That's Banana Fish, Attack on Titan Season 3, My Hero Academia Season 3, Black Clover still going strong, and Captain Tsubasa. So, because football season, and we have to talk Captain Tsubasa. And naturally, while we're recording this podcast, Manchester United and Newcastle are about to go live, so...
Yep, they're playing right behind me.
And then to finish out the episode is our retro anime review, and this episode is going to be covering, if you've paid attention to the title, it's Aim for the Ace, a historical tennis anime from the mid-70s. Early to mid-70s.
By the same guy who brought us shows like Ashita no Joe. Osamu Dezaki.
Dezaki. Mr. Famous Sports Guy himself.
Yep. Well, Mr. Famous Director in general.
Yeah, well, that too. What's everybody been doing? I've been going to a lot of indie wrestling shows, getting drunk with wrestlers, bowling my ass off the last few weeks. Had one really bad night that just infuriated me to a level I haven't been at in a long time.
Should have gotten an Oni coach.
Should have gotten an Oni coach.
Yeah, he would just hit you with bowling balls or things.
Yeah, maybe he could show me his balls technique. Or God.
You can never return his real balls.
Won't be able to handle his real balls on that hardwood. There's gonna be a lot of that, because that is what Aim for the Ace is all about. A bad coach with terrible dubbed lines. Or translated lines, more like. Hickey, what have you been up to? Things going better yourself?
I'm on test week, but it's fine because since I'm graduating this year, my tests are not that difficult. They're just do this and go home. So it's been great. Tomorrow is election day. I need to get out of my house and go vote, being a good citizen. And I'm obligated by law to vote. So there's not much you can do. It's been a crazy election. People getting stabbed, shot. It's too bad. Anyway, been good.
Sorry, are you going to get stabbed or anything?
Not that I know of. The likelihood of me getting stabbed is very low. So,
almost
as always,
you live
good.
In a safe country or something.
One of the safest, or so they say.
What about the thrill of going out of your home and doesn't know if you're coming back?
It's unlikely. You're most likely coming back, but I don't know. I mean, you might get caught up in the rain or something. That's pretty terrible. You wouldn't want that. It rains a lot here.
Is it a rain of bullets or just a rain?
It's just regular rain. Bullets are illegal here.
Bullets are illegal.
But yeah, I've been good. Here. Thanks for asking. And yeah, I've started some online classes and whatnot, just to kind of finish the last mandatory year of school that I have. And yeah, it's interesting.
Alrighty. Not much else happening on my end other than that. I had some job interviews. Things happened, so translations are still going well enough. But watching anime, playing video games, played Assassin's Creed Odyssey much of yesterday morning, and I am not happy with that game. Definitely listen to those thoughts come the retro or even modern podcast episodes, whichever get recorded first. Definitely be hearing me with some opinions on that. I did get a free copy from Capcom of Mega Man 11. Have you guys played a lot of Mega Man?
Nope.
Yes, I did. It is very fun.
It is still
I
very
saw
fun.
you sucking at the podcast.
Oh my god.
Live stream. I saw that, by the way.
I streamed the first hour of Mega Man 11, and I'm like, yep, I still incredibly suck at Mega Man, but it's still super fun. It's still super fun. Yeah, it's got this nice little double gear system that I definitely haven't gotten used to it yet. I'm so used to just the simplistic mechanics of point and shoot kind of deal.
Point, shoot, charge, shoot. I think, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm still more familiar with the original Mega Man games, so even the charge shot I'm not totally familiar with, even though I have played a few of the X series. I think the charge shot came in Mega Man like 5 or something. But anyways, Capcom was kind enough to send me a nice little signed poster and a copy of the game. So,
would they sign it with "Fuck you, JD"?
Yeah, I believe it was the director of the game specifically saying your podcast sucks.
Fuck you, JD. In broken English. The guy can manage to translate broken English to text. Fuck your JD.
Oh god. So, have you guys been playing any games or watching any anime that's not related to the podcast?
I'm always watching anime, you know. Starting the new season. So I'm just kind of finished up the last season and started this new season. And, you know, FIFA 19 came out, so I've been playing a bit of that. Been getting back into online play and Ultimate Team and whatnot, and it's fun. Still fun.
Yeah, I was reading articles about how they nerfed the odds to make it even worse for a lot of the rarer players.
They do, but they kind of like the way around that, or not the way around it, but like the counterbalance to that is that it's a lot easier to get packs now. They pretty much give you packs every week just for playing the game. And you can get multiple, and you can get big packs as well. So you get a lot more packs than you used to. So it kind of makes sense that they cut the odds. Not that the odds were good before, so,
right?
But it is what it is.
Talking about FIFA 19, Cristiano Ronaldo was cut off of every advertisement of the game because of that sexual harassment scandal. You should talk about that
in the tax evasion.
Oh, no one cares about tax evasion.
That's just standard. That's just standard with being a footballer in Spain, man.
In Spain,
tax evasion, sexual harassments. It's almost like an American politician at that point.
Yeah. I finished the last season. I'm going to start the new season today. Although I already got spoiled to the oblivion. Thanks, Crunchyroll, by the way.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning on the pre-show that the Crunchyroll English account had spoilers already on Twitter.
They're the only Crunchyroll Twitter account that actually spoil shows after the episode. Although I think it's funny because you need to pay attention to what Crunchyroll is trying to spoil or trying to get people speaking about or talking about it, because it usually means that show. So it's good to look at it. Aside from that, I don't play games. I'm just a huge history nerd, and I just play War Thunder because I like World War II games.
Sure.
World War II tanks. And I have Bella Ciao, a music of the Partigianos, stuck in my head for like a week. Also Panzerlied, but I don't know German, so I can't.
Yeah, my Crunchyroll premium thing finally expired. I didn't renew it. I was kind of in Tori's realm of sick of the service in a way, and Hickey, your bright idea of ad blocker does work with Crunchyroll, so I don't even have to worry about the commercials. So I'm like, well, shit, why was I paying for it this whole time?
Because you don't want to get stuff a week later.
It's not a big deal to me.
It only flashes a little bit, but like after 1 second, it's back. So like, what's the point? Even Keys Anime has a fucking AD blocker.
No, I know, right? But like, here's the thing, and I said this when Hickey kind of brought the question: like, why hasn't Crunchyroll got a fucking ad block detector on their streaming service? The obvious answer to that is because they can't have their fans do that, and they're not going to do it themselves because who the fuck would code that in? They don't have anyone to do that.
That is true, but they made a HTML5 player. They could just put it in.
No, I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
Okay,
All right.
what you're saying is that the HTML5 player is just a batch of random strings they found in the fucking Linux.
You know, in the Linux. I mean, there was already a plugin that you could download that would convert all Crunchyroll players to HTML5. So maybe they just got it from there.
That is quite the assumption.
It is,
and it makes sense.
I can't prove it. I can't prove it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked.
Since it's Crunchyroll, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, as long as they paid for it, I don't really care how they did it.
They installed the plugin and the fucking server. That's the HTML5 player.
Alrighty, we got a lot to talk about here. A lot of shows to review. Shall we move on to the summer reviews? Just get right into it.
Sure.
All right. I'm gonna play this Lupin drop. Okay. Our first anime up for review from the summer 2018 season is that title I can't pronounce, Tori.
I actually want to do that one last.
You want to do it last? All right. What's the first one you
I'll
want to do?
start with Angle Moise.
Okay. Are you gonna be moist about it?
I am. No, I'm not going to be moist about it. So basically, what is Angle Moise? Or let's just start with the full title. Angle Moise Genko Kasenki. Angle Moise is kind of like an alternate history thing. The synopsis from Malice: the scary Great King comes from the other side of the sea. The big incident, Genko, that shook medieval Japan, is being drawn in an original way in this historical anime, along with the beginning of the samurai. So basically, you have this samurai dude. His name is Jinsaburo Kuchi, and he has been he's been arrested for some crimes and has been shipped off to this island where they basically dispose of all their criminals, just to kind of get him out of Japan.
They're
still
like
in Japan. Yes, but in Japan. So basically, he's stranded there with a bunch of other people. And this is obvious. This is when the Mongols attack. So the Mongols come there and kill everything. And basically, it's just this it's an entertaining show about this really badass samurai dude who is fighting off the Mongol invasion as they are just swarming this island in thousands of thousands of thousands of thousands. I think it was like, oh, there's forces of like 15,000 and 30,000 and Mongols attacking from all sides and eventually basically about just how they got all slaughtered. So entertaining story, you know.
Isn't this the same time frame that the new game Ghost of Tsushima is based off of?
I think it is. I think that's possible. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. It's a decently fun. It's not a very deep story. It's an action story essentially. Samurai dude kill shit, meets a bunch of other opponents who kill shit. Graphic. A very annoying filter that they decided to put over the screen at every single time. It literally looks like you have sand in your eyes when you watch it. I don't understand why they did that. It's extremely annoying, but...
Is it like a censored thing or no?
No, it doesn't censor anything. It's just there.
Yeah, it was just to look, I don't know, historical?
I think it's to make it look grainy, like it's from sort of like historical piece of paper or something. I don't know. It doesn't make much. Like, I don't think whatever they were going for, whatever look they were going for with that, I just think they kind of failed it. It mostly just like literally the best way I can describe it. It just looks like you have sand in your eyes. It doesn't look like anything.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that. Is there anything much to the story at all, or is it just episode to episode is more just killing the things?
there's a bunch of stuff. Like, you explore the island that they're on. You have kind of that pseudo relationship thing between Jin Saburo and the princess of the island.
Mm-hmm.
You just generally got like how the island works, like how the people living there get to see a bit of them before, they're obviously just burned alive and slaughtered and taken as slaves. So like is
the show pro-slave?
No, but they sure like it.
So what you're saying is slavery is bad.
Yes, I'd say so. I would say so.
What a progressive show!
Yeah, nah, it's not like, but it isn't about that. Like, it is just generally about. It is essentially like a war drama, like an action war drama. That's so really just the invasion of the Mongols in Japan. They're trying to take over, and these people trying to fight off the Mongols, waiting for help to arrive, which never would arrive and never did arrive. Spoiler! Shouldn't come as a shock. They say that in episode 1. It's just, in episode 1, Jin Saburo's kind of like, nah, that help is never going to come.
Yeah.
It seems to have pretty okay reception.
Yeah, it was one of those. It's one of those surprising shows. So it's like, it's not fantastic. It's like most people didn't know anything about it before it came out, and then you pick it up, it's just like, yeah, this is decently entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting historical anime because usually they either put you in the Shogunate or the Sengoku era. This one is it's a little bit before that.
Yep.
With the Mongol invasion. Usually when we talk about Mongol invasion, we talk about the kamikaze. The pilots in the Second World War with the actual storm that happened after the Tsushima battle and kind of destroy the Mongol navy and, protecting Japan, the actual big Japan, not the airlines, the main island of Japan from the Mongol invasion.
Yeah.
So like this is after, like this is before the kamikaze, and it's a bitter story because at the end the good people don't win. It is quite sad. It's very rare to see a story like that in it because usually they have the same story behind. If you try enough, you will succeed and friendship power. And this one is just like, no, there are times that you can win.
Yep. I mean, just to quote Jin Saburo at the end there, like what he said is essentially just like when it's like, oh, we were completely defeated, and it's just kind of like, no, we won because if you survive, you've won. Like this wasn't a winning battle. It's just the people that survived are the ones that won. So it's a pretty grim story.
Okay, I might have to check out an episode or two.
Yeah, it's okay.
It sounds okay.
Yeah, the biggest problem is definitely the filter.
Yeah.
The filter. Yeah, okay.
You can't get away from it. It's going to be especially noticeable when you have like at nighttime and in rain. Like then it's really in your face, and it's no.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it opens on a nighttime scene in the rain, so just be prepared.
Okay. Well, let's see here. Let's move on to our next anime then, which is Hickey. Which one are you gonna pop up here first?
I'll follow the order. So I'll start with Hanebado.
Hanebado, the badminton booby anime.
The greatest show of this season. That's for sure. The greatest comedy of the show of the season. Basically, it's the story of Ayano, and Ayano is a first-year student at a high school. She has this natural ability to play badminton, and she was playing badminton throughout her life. Before entering high school, she had a match with a girl called Nagisa Aragaki, and guess what? She's in the second year of the same school she's attending now, and so she wants to get away from badminton, but she kind of get pulled again. Ayano gets pulled to the badminton board again and start training, and they go to championships and why not. And basically, it's the story about why she wanted to get away. Should be a story about rivalry and how to prevail when you have talent against hard work. Kind of what Aim of the Ace talks about as well.
Yeah, it's very. It sounds almost exactly the same.
Not really
in that sense.
This show, first of all, I think it has the best opening, in my opinion. I'm not joking. I'll joke and be sarcastic about a lot of things in the show, but the opening, it's sang by Yurika, the same one who sang the opening for Hoseki no Kuni.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very gritty, very simple, but it gets the message of the around. Very cool opening. The problem of the show is that the writing is not the best.
It's adapting a pretty poor manga.
Yeah, the manga seems like the story is way worse than the anime. The anime actually made things better. But the problem really is with the rivalry. Reason being, I know whoever wrote the story wanted the rivalry to be the focus of it. And people being very passionate about badminton and winning by badminton, showing their abilities. But the problem is, they translate it as a bunch of assholes. And like when they they were assholes, and they were competing to be the biggest asshole in the anime. You start with Aragaki, and Aragaki lost. Like, she couldn't score a point against Ayano. She comes back to school, and what she does, she goes full Oni coach and starts basically torturing the members of the club. No basis to training, no whatsoever. She was just smashing the fucking little thing at the people and yeah, because of that, the birdie at people, and because of that, she nearly killed the club. Everyone leaves, like more than half of the club leaves. And when she's going like, I don't care, I want people to win, I don't give a shit about others, and she goes to the tennis court, she sees Ayano, which defeated her like by a lot, playing tennis, saying, yeah, no, I don't want to play badminton. She destroyed the club to become better, to beat Ayano, and Ayano is like, no, I'm done with badminton. And she realizes that, and realizes she's a massive cunt. But then you have other people, and the people that come after that, every single rival that appears after that, they are even more asshole than the last one, until you hit Ayano's mother, and Ayano's mother is a piece of shit. And she doesn't even care. She doesn't even give a shit. She says that, I know I'm a piece of shit, I don't care. As long as Ayano becomes the greatest badminton player in the world, I don't give a shit about being a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I know she's trying to be like the rivalry and passion, but it translated
in order to just kind of let them know,
be assholes.
Yeah, but in order to just kind of let them know why she's an asshole, basically take this, right? Ayano has been playing badminton since she was like 6 years old or whatever, probably even earlier.
4 or 5.
Yeah, like she's been trained by her mother, and basically the way they did was her mother trained her, and we keep playing until you drop the thing, whatever the fuck it's called.
Racket?
Birdie.
No, the birdie. Like you keep playing until you drop that. So as long as you can keep it up, they keep playing. That's her way of training her. That's always been. Then one day she kind of realized herself that her daughter is too attached to her, and she will never get better with her there. So she just makes a conscious decision to, I'm going to leave. I'm going to leave her behind. So for like whatever 10 plus years, she just fucking doesn't say anything. She just kind of one day walks out the door, only to never return. Has apparently fucking moved to Denmark and is training up another girl to be her rival.
She adopts another girl.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
And she lives with her in Denmark.
Yeah. She raises her as her own kid, while her actual kid is in Japan alone playing badminton. Because she went to a match with another girl who appears in the anime, and she's also a fucking asshole. But she got what she deserved at least.
This doesn't sound very good.
Ayano
pretty okay.
went to the match.
No, it's pretty okay. I mean,
she had a high fever. She had a high fever. She couldn't be playing. She went to the match, lost because of she was sick. She couldn't stand, and her mother's like, "You lost. It doesn't matter. The circumstances. Fuck you." And moved to Denmark. Like, oh, I love this show so much.
So it's an unintentional comedy.
It is an unintentional comedy. It is unintentional.
I've heard a lot of people have gripe with the drama just being over the top.
Well, I mean, again, you need to remember, right? Well, you need to remember, for these people, badminton is everything. So, in that sense, yes, the drama is over the top. You obviously don't care as much about badminton as they do. It obviously seems ridiculous to you that Nagisa, the captain of the badminton club, is literally willing to destroy the badminton club because she lost a game of badminton, right? But like, it is the kind of a bit of suspension of disbelief in that regard, because it's not something that you yourself would necessarily feel, unless you also have fucking anger issues.
That's why when I opened this rant, I said, you need to understand the writing is trying to tell you this is about rivalry and passion, but it's not translated well.
Yep.
It doesn't translate on screen well. Okay.
There's anger issues, huge lack of sportsmanship and fair play. People being assholes because they want to be assholes. Then you have redemption stories.
Is there a character at any point in the show that Tanya Harding's another player? And for those that aren't familiar, that is basically you take out your own teammate or rival, so they won't be able to play.
There is one. Well, there is one that kind of like she leaves her teammate. She like, no, if I don't get to play alone, you don't get to play.
They're playing doubles, and Connie, the girl who got adopted by Ayano's mother and got raised by her instead of Ayano. They're playing doubles, and Connie's like, I don't need a partner. I'm gonna play alone. Fuck you. If you hit the fucking body, I'm killing you.
She doesn't say that.
That's the overall feeling you get by the face and conversation and how angry she is. But after that, it has Connie's redemption story where she explained why she wants to play alone, why she wants to win against Ayano alone, because she wants to be accepted as part of the family. Although that doesn't redempt her when she was an asshole to everyone in her fucking team, everyone on Ayano's fucking team, and with Ayano, like by free, like it is completely free. Everything is free. But still, it is very fun. It is very entertaining. Badminton anime, for some reason, was quite entertaining.
That opening match is so well animated.
Yeah, a lot of the last one as well. The last one, they saved a little bit in the middle, so they could make the last more animated, had more animation. You also have an Oni coach, and he just... Not the coach from the actual team, the coach with the glasses from the Bun Girl, which is the only person. You can count how many people in that anime are not an asshole. One of the rivals and the teacher that is responsible for the badminton team.
Yep.
You have a romance in the background with a few characters, and they being assholes.
That romance didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Nah, but like, I mean, the funny thing is, we're going to talk about coaches later as well, but I just want to mention the coach in this one. You want to talk about useless coaches that do nothing. He did nothing. Absolutely nothing. He was just kind of, I'm here to save the badminton club and turn you into the best. What does he do? Absolutely fuck all.
Yeah. At least only coach tortures people.
Yep. This guy just, he kind of shows up and he's like, okay, everyone practice. And then they cut and it's like, okay, we're done for today. Bye. Like, what the fuck have you done? You're doing nothing.
Wow, that reminds me of the coach in Prince of Tennis.
I'm the best coach. You're just sitting there.
If you want a good anime with a unintentional funny story, Hanebado.
Alrighty. as an update, Newcastle is up 2-0.
They sure are, surprisingly.
They scored 2 goals in 10 minutes. Inside 10 minutes, apparently. Alright. Well then, I'll bring us into the next one, which would be, let's see. I'm gonna start out with Grand Blue. Mostly because I only got to finish half of it, or watch half of it, which is okay. The show is incredibly episodic. Nothing really continues off each other from one episode to another. And I believe, Tori, you dropped the show?
Nope. I finished it.
Oh, you did finish. Okay, so maybe you can inform me of the last half, the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Hickey, did you watch Grand Blue?
Yeah, I also read the manga because the manga is hilarious.
So you finished it?
Yeah, I finished it.
Okay, cool. So after moving out on his own to a seaside town, Iori makes a college debut he never anticipated. A new chapter of his life unfolds, full of diving with beautiful girls and shenanigans with a gaggle of lovable bastards. Idiot expert Kenji Inoue and all-natural authority Kimitake Yoshioka bring you a glorious college tale filled with booze-filled antics. So basically, it's this guy is off to college. He goes to a seaside town, and due to inexplicable reasons, he just kind of gets roped into joining the diving club. I think it's just because his cousin, who he's going to live with, is in it. Is that right?
Well,
no, he gets forced.
His uncle,
well, he basically gets forced, but where he's at,
his uncle has a diving dinner. It's like a restaurant where people can rent diving equipment and dive. Pretty much. I forgot the name. The one from Nadia, the animation, the same.
Oh,
great. Amanchu, the same as
yes.
the Amanchu restaurant in Amanchu.
Amanchu, yeah, yes.
Okay. Well, basically, Iori just wants to have a fun college life, and basically every episode is a new day of crazy dudes drinking, and there's a theme for each episode, but it always seems to be focused around the same thing, and that's not so much diving as much as overreacting to every single thing someone says at any point in the show. I found it okay funny. It wasn't, I wasn't rolling on the floor or anything or even laughing out loud, but there was one moment in particular in the show, and that's when Iori gets, because he's busy drinking and getting roped in by all the jacked naked dudes in the diving club all the time, and yes, they get naked a lot for no reason, but that's normalcy. Is they're all in class, and they're about to take a German test, and obviously none of them has studied anything, and they apparently all have prepared their own cheat sheet versions. So Iori's got the self-monologue going, alright, so what are these guys going to do? They look real confident. Teacher goes, alright, and the test starts now. And they just immediately walk up, alright, we're done. We're out of here. While the others are freaking out. They don't know what to do. One guy's cheat sheet gets totally caught by the teacher. He immediately fails. And then the teacher starts fucking with him. Well, obviously everyone's struggling. So I'm going to give you a freebie. And he says, translate this into German right on the back. And he goes, what is it? Rheuma something arthritis? Everyone freaks out. And I go, well, if you know anything about the German linguistics, if it's like a medical term, it's probably, there's a very good chance it's just the same word.
Because it's Greek, and all medical terms are used as they are. You have a lot of language that has the common phrasing for it, which is the thing you can tell everyday people what it is. But in medical fields, it's always the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, kind of even still, for them especially, they don't use Roman letters at all. So to kind of write that, it's what the fuck.
So they freak out. Then he gives them a funny sentence to translate, which is like the banana in your pocket's really small. So, like, is the teacher serious? And then he goes, and one final question, John Adams. Like, that's a name. So then it turns out everyone gets like 18s and 20s on the test. They all fail horribly. And he goes, if you then as some colleges do, mine never did it. But if you they graded on a bell curve, so it's like if you got over a 20, what did he say? You got an A or you passed? I don't remember.
I think you passed.
Like, okay. Meanwhile, Chisei, the girl that's a part of the diving club, and you know the stereotypical always angry at the main character, but actually likes him, the tsundere character, basically. She's in the back with an 83%.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I laughed out loud quite a lot in that moment because I had the exact same experience in college, except I was the one who passed with the 83.
Yeah, I had a similar. Well, I was one of the three.
Difference being I already spoke the language fluently at the time, so I didn't really have to study.
Mine was general law theory, and I was the only one who actually studied for that and passed.
Are you telling me you didn't just spend all your days in college drinking heavily?
That's
he did that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that too.
I definitely did that too. It was Monday night. Are you kidding me?
You never woke up in the fucking bitch in your trunks? Never? That happened to me twice.
I would. I probably would have showed up to class like without a shirt or something, hungover. But yeah, I went to college in Germany in Upper Michigan, so I think that would have been frowned upon for my 40-minute train ride into class, or in the like minus 20-degree weather I had to go into.
Yeah, I went to classes hungover. There's instances where I was just drinking in the table, then it got to me peeing on a fucking coconut tree, and then one of my friends running naked by the beach, and then I wake up at the beach.
So you experienced the true Grand Blue.
Yeah, the true Grand Blue. I live closer to the beach. I can do that kind of thing. You can go swimming and diving if I want to, although it's quite expensive to go diving.
Yeah.
But
were there even any hot chicks, and were you related to them in any way?
I live in Brazil.
Okay.
That's
there
right.
are hot chicks, but yes.
That's right. Him and Chisei are related, aren't they?
They're cousins.
Yeah, they're cousins, and yet they have like this love relationship thing going on.
Not really. Well, fake one, yeah.
Also, talking about Chisei, her voice actress is the same as the secretary in Idolmaster Million Live.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, I thought the show was okay for the first 6 episodes. Episode 5 and 6, when the new girl from the tennis club that they kind of get roped into her club, I noticed. Yeah, I noticed that as soon as she joined, and I mean it makes sense in the show, I suppose, but it kind of showcased what Iori went through when he first got there. Now it was...
But he got used to it.
But yeah, and then he got used to it, so it was normal to him now, and then now she's in... It repeated the same formula, and I was like, oh, okay, I can... You can already see the jokes that's going to happen again.
Not really. Because she isn't roped into it so much. She wants to be there. Mostly because Iori was nice to her, but she wants to be there.
She wants to dive. She's enthralled by the feeling of diving. As Iori, he got.
So here was a question I always ask myself on the show, though. They're in a diving club, and yet he can't swim. So doesn't that disqualify you from ever getting a diving license immediately?
If he never gets over it, but he does.
But he doesn't know how to swim.
That's why they have to teach him. Okay. He has to learn.
Okay.
They do that.
Does he learn how to swim by the end of the show?
They get to the point where they go for the diving license.
Does he pass?
So, no.
He doesn't pass?
No, he got sick. He couldn't protect the final day.
Yeah, then he drunk. He got drunk, and that really handsome lady, she put a
so someone spiked his drink and then he missed the test.
No. He also practiced all night out in the fucking. He practiced all night out in the pool, and he got a cold.
Oh, Jesus.
I love it.
That sounds very Japanese, doesn't
it? I can't relax when I'm inside of water, and then he just takes off his bathing suit.
Yep, I love that though. I love those like sudden cuts, and then they're just naked. It's like, anything wrong?
Let's drink, and they start undressing, and it's like, oh, drinking while dressed feels so weird.
Yeah. Where they go out to buy more booze, and fucking Yoda gets in the car and he's all naked. It's like, can you put something on? And he's just like, huh? Oh right, and then he puts a seatbelt on.
Yeah, there are good jokes that kind of. There's a lot of instances in the show that make you smile. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
It almost had anime comedy of the season for me. Almost.
It's very slapstick, and so if you don't like the slapstick style, then maybe the show's not for you. Well, probably the show's not for you.
There's a few different jokes in there to kind of offset each other, so it's not all going hard on one thing, but it does generally fall into the same thing. I like the misunderstanding jokes, the one between, oh my god.
The interpretation jokes are the best. Like, they're like, help me, and then his friends just start smiling evilly.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good, but I'm talking about like the misinterpretation joke where they're looking at each other, they're like, are we on the same page? We are on the same page. They're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Not even close.
It happens, I think, JD, you probably watched that one with the beauty contest.
Oh yeah,
where they wanted Yori to be the joke one, and the other guy, the otaku guy, to be the actual one. But then when they saw the uniform, Yori was like, "They want me to prostitute myself for money."
Yeah, they jump to the most outrageous conclusion you can imagine all the time.
Oh, come on. They went into his room and then you got fucking anime porn porn wallpapers everywhere, and it's just like, it's not what you think. Like, yeah, I must have been mistaken. Go in and it's all been fucking replaced by hard yaoi. No, it's not what you think.
But like after
instead of making the room himself, he put it on all the other guys, and they all have their own like hardcore fetish, and they just put it up times 1,000 in the room.
Yep.
So yeah, but like after the half point, they start actually having more when Keiki becomes part of the group of characters.
Right.
The conversations, they start to get more serious, and you have more serious relations going on.
Yeah, I noticed it was starting to head towards that direction. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I didn't miss anything, but I'm probably gonna just finish the show this weekend at some point for sure. Just didn't have the time to finish it. So I probably will give the show like a 6 out of 10 in the end. I don't see myself giving it really anything lower or higher than that. But it was, it's enjoyable. It's a good little summer comedy fest, that's for sure.
Sure is. That opening as well. Atsukunare, my friend. I love that. Yeah. Such a summer tune.
It is nice to use my Amazon Prime account for something, so that's where this show was streaming. It's funny, I have High Dive and Amazon Prime, but I don't have Crunchyroll anymore.
Hey, capitalism.
Yeah,
the best service win, and High Dive is quite a good service.
Yeah,
I do like High Dive. I do like it. So
I only have Crunchyroll, and I mean, I say only have. I don't have Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is my only option.
Let's check in with Newcastle and Manchester United, shall we?
Sure.
Still 2-0 at 41 minutes.
Enjoyable.
Okay. Well, at 46 minutes, what's Tori? What's the next anime you're gonna review here for us?
My next anime is a little show called Happy Sugar Life.
Happy Sugar.
And as the title suggests, this is a very sweet romance about a pure love between a high school student named Sato Matsusaka and her girlfriend Shio Kobe, who is at least not older than a primary schooler.
Oh boy.
And I know what you're immediately thinking, so well, get this pedo shit out of my face.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell you, a synopsis. This is a shivering, pure love, psycho horror story of a girl named Sato Matsusaka who has someone she likes. She experienced a sweet feeling when she sleeps with her and thought it must be love. Everything will be forgiven as long as she protects this feeling, even if she tricks, commits crimes, steals, or even kills, she thought.
Are you sure this isn't a hentai?
This is not a hentai. Because when I really don't like the fact that they say sleep together, because they don't sleep together in that sense. They are in the same bed. But, whatever. It's basically about this crazy chick who kidnaps a girl who she falls in love with. This girl develops Stockholm Syndrome and becomes attached to her. And in order to protect her happy sugar life, she needs to keep this a secret. Shio Kobe can never escape her room, so she's locked in there. She doesn't want to escape either. She's scared of the outside world.
What the fuck?
This girl, she kills people or that tries to figure out her secret, and it's a psycho's love story. It's a psychotic horror. It's a psychotic horror. It's actually incredibly good. I like this a lot.
So, how does an episode typically go down in the show?
Usually by Sato going around in her monologuing a bit about her happy sugar life. She has two states, which is the everything is sweet, everything is hers. Like, she is a perfect girl. She is very kind to others. She is very attractive. She used to sleep around with a lot of guys. She wanted to experience love, but never found it. Now she finally does. But if somebody gets wrong, if somebody does wrong by her, or if they threaten her peaceful everyday life, she's unhappy and everything becomes bitter. Very, very bitter. She has this bitter taste in her mouth. She needs to get rid of this bitter taste in her mouth. That's when she goes home to Shio, and her life is once again filled with sugar. And everything becomes sweet. And, it's essentially just it's a show about a whole bunch of different psychotic people.
Psychological problems.
Yeah, everyone basically has their own kind of psychological problem. They clash a lot, and there's all just, in general...
I like the pedophile guy. He got...
Pedophile guy. Yeah. I wish he got fucked more, actually, but whatever.
No, I made a joke that I wish the pedophile guy would just go full Disturbia in the movie with Shia LaBeouf. To invade the fucking room and try to save Chio, and he invades the wrong house with the psychotic aunt, and he got raped again.
Sato, one of the reasons why she is so fucked up is because of her aunt. She is something else. She is always in bandages, always looks like she's gotten beaten really hard, and there's a reason for that. She loves everyone, and she accepts every kind of love. And that's kind of the thing. She accepts every kind of love. And she has this, almost poisonous nature in which she awakens people's deepest desires. So, even when the police come to check her out, she almost seduces another and start beating the shit out of her. She is extremely scary. And when the pedophile, who already doesn't like women because he got raped by an older woman at his workplace, so he doesn't like older women, he finally decides, because he's met Shio and he fell in love with her, so he wants to go and get her back. Invades the wrong room, runs into the aunt, and she's just, I'll accept your love. And he's just like, I don't love you. She's just like, no, fuck you. I'm going to fuck you. And then they do.
Oh, God, this show.
It's so good. I was so enjoyable.
It's basically a lot of psychological problems, and the person who wrote didn't make a lot of research, so a few different psychological problems got mixed, and the person mixed a few of psychological problems that don't mix well together, like a psychopath with a borderline syndrome personality person, sociopathy, and things like that. Some PTSD with, pedophile feelings. Mm-hmm. But also you have a lot of psychopath or psychotic tropes in it. Mm-hmm. Like blackmailing, and you have the friend that believes that everything will be alright as long as I trust the person, and of course that never happens.
Well, it wasn't really exactly that. It's that she is afraid to. She likes the status quo, and she is afraid to kind of dig deeper. She doesn't want to get close to anyone. Like, well, I mean, even her best friend is like, if her best friend. Well, it's not even that she trusts her. It's that like. Even though she knows that there's something going on and that there's something, like she suspects her friend is, maybe something's going on in her friend's life, she can't get herself to ask her anything. Like she doesn't want, because she for some reason doesn't want to accept that there can be something wrong with people, or something can be, going bad. She's kind of like stuck in the whatever's going on right now.
Right.
So yeah. But ultimately, I really enjoyed the show. I ended up giving it a 7 in the end, but it could have been better. But it was a lot of fun. Like I said, I could have given it an 8. I gave it some. I pulled it down a little bit for certain things here and there, but just in general,
what would be those things you pulled it down from? Because I know the studio is like brand new.
Yep. Well, that doesn't mean anything. But like
that means like poor quality kind of deal.
This is not a poor quality show.
No. Surprising.
Nah. I mean, that depends on where they come from. Mm-hmm. But like like I said, Hickey's mentions, there is a couple like stuff that doesn't overlap very well in characters. You have a certain time where it's like, I feel like rather than where characters are having kind of one of their psychotic breakdowns, there are times where I feel like it is going way past like psychotic breakdown and into comedy territory, especially with the pedophile guy. He is, I mean, for fuck's sakes, he is like having an orgasm while sniffing missing posters of a child. It's like, it's not even something that belongs to that child. It's a missing poster.
This sounds overly.
The pedophile is just too great. Yeah, no.
The pedophile is the guy that is the most overdone. And then you have that like fucking masochist / sadist teacher who's like both of those for some reason. It was weird.
Yeah.
But he didn't appear that many times. He appeared like twice, and he got fucked over both times. I love it. The one that times is like, "Hey, you should help me. What do you want me to do? Here, dispose of this." A dead body. It's like, God damn it.
The frequency of mental illness as well is kind of. That's why I kept saying there's heavy chemicals in the water, because there's no way so many people with mental illness are just gathering around in the same place.
Okay.
They weren't from the same place. They were from around.
No, come on. They're from
you never know what goes on. The entire thing is like, you never know what goes on in people's lives. There are multiple people. There are multiple cases. Family, like people being abused by family, abandoned.
Sure.
Just generally, like there's a whole lot of stuff in here.
To make everything mash it up and put together in the same place, like in the same circle of people.
Yeah. Nikki, what did you end up giving the show in the end?
It's at a 6. I think it was a 6 or 5.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
5. Yes.
There's also another person that you didn't mention. You have another yandere in the job.
Yes.
Salto's job. She was like, "I want to be like you. Want to be you." I was like, okay.
Yeah. She literally wants to be her. That's right. I mean, she gets disposal pretty easy. It's just like, okay, you want me? Here you. But only when I say it's okay. And she's like, she doesn't know how to handle that. She's like, what? No. What? How?
I find it funny the tags of on Anime Planet. here that I have up, and if you're watching the live stream, you can see it. It says girl love, horror, mystery, shoujo ai, violence, mature themes, physical abuse, sexual abuse. Like,
yeah,
it's got
it's
everything.
all in there. It really does. It really does. But like going into this, going into this, everyone knew about the show before coming out, even because it was kind of made fun of because you have the yandere character, and so it was like, oh look, Gasai got on the show. And for those that don't know, Gasai is the main character from, or one of the main characters from Mirai Nikki, and she's a yandere, and she got pretty popular there for a while. Mirai Nikki, and she so everyone's kind of like, there's another one of those shows, but this one took a lot of people, including myself, by surprise. It's a lot better. I was expecting like a shit show, just there's a girl here who likes people, or she's fallen in love, and then goes around killing people for her love. But I mean, she does kill people, but it's not like she goes. It's not like another episode, another murder. It's not quite like that.
Okay, so it's not episodic in that sense. All right.
No, it's not episodic.
That's what I was wondering.
It's not.
There is an overall story throughout it.
Okay. Does it end well?
It ends. It basically it ends as you could. It kind of ends as you would expect it to end, given the circumstances. So it ends.
The happy sugar life must come to an end, kind of deal. Kinda. Not so happy.
Depends on who you ask.
Okay, all right. Fair enough.
Yeah, that is actually true at the ending of the show. Depends to who you ask.
Yep.
Okay. So we got Anglomois, Happy Sugar Life out of the way. Hanebado. Grand Blue.
Steins Gate Zero.
Ooh, Hickey. Are you going to get us into Steins Gate Zero now?
Yep. Steins Gate Zero is the second part of Steins Gate. It's the continuation of a bad ending of the game, Steins Gate game, and basically it tells the story of Okabe Rintaro in the Alpha world line. You need to watch Steins Gate before watching this. If you haven't,
I would agree.
I'm sorry, I'm about to spoil two things.
Here, I'll play a spoiler drop here. Fair enough.
We have a spoil drop?
Sure. There we go.
All right. So basically, at the end of Steins Gate, Okabe discovers that when Maki Sekurisu dies, it is actually his fault. And he got traumatized, and he doesn't want to go back and try to save her again. To achieve the Steins Gate, which is a word line different from the Alpha and the Beta word line, where both Maki Sekurisu and Mayuri are alive.
Right.
In the original one, which is the true ending of the game, he goes back. He fakes a death of Maki Sekurisu, and then he kind of tricks the word line to think she's dead, but then she's not dead. There's a convergence of word lines, and both of them are together and alive in the Steins Gate word line. But in Steins Gate Zero, Okabe Rintaro decided to not go back and try to save her again. Not only that, he goes and destroys the time leap machine, which makes this one a word line where Maki Sekurisu is dead, and they are walking towards World War III. So basically, it's the story of Okabe Rintaro trying to stop World War III from happening without having to use a time machine because of the problems it has.
Right.
And the effect it has.
It's pretty complicated and intricate.
Yeah, it was advertised as a second season for Steins Gate or a continuation of Steins Gate, which is not. what happened in Japan is they re-aired Steins Gate, normally Steins Gate, but they changed the ending to match Steins Gate Zero. And then from that alternative ending, they started Steins Gate Zero right after that, without any call.
Was that like episode 0 that was put? Okay, that makes more sense. I think you mentioned that in the chat in the past.
Yeah, that's what they did. Here we only got Steins Gate. Fuck all. So a lot of people were like down for. They weren't feeling it because it doesn't follow the same structure as a second season, which is basically the structure of the first season, where you have beginning, the climax, and then the ending with character development. And why not? Because you don't need that, since the beginning of Steins Gate Zero is technically the beginning of the climax of the Steins Gate second iteration part, where you have all the beginning of Steins Gate. Then you start to get the climax at the transition between Steins Gate and Steins Gate Zero, and the ending in Steins Gate. Which I commonly refer as the same thing as Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu 2006 and Suzumiya Haruhi no Yutsu 2009. They're the same anime, but like one has more content than the other one.
So what is Steins Gate Zero? What's different about this one other than the motivation, so to say?
A few things changed. Okabe Rintaro doesn't call himself as Hoin Kyoma. He's tired, he's depressed, he doesn't want to have anything to do with the time travel, and people want him to time travel and try to achieve Steins Gate because it will change the world. But he doesn't want to, he doesn't care anymore, he doesn't want to see people dying again because it's too much for him. We progress, and people around him start getting, threatened by a few things. He goes to a university, he starts studying to become a proper scientist, and he discovered that a research in the United States got hold of Maki Sekurisu's brain and made an AI based on her memory, which is called Amadeus. Amadeus, which is I think it's a Beethoven reference. And so on, we get that. We have behind that you have the beginning of the arm race to develop a time machine and travel through time. You have a few revelations that Daru's daughter wasn't alone, and in the time travel machine there was another girl called Kagari, which was an adopted daughter of Mayuri in the future. And so basically,
the character of Kagari, to me, didn't need to be in the show at all, as well as it just irked me that she looked the way she did, and there was no explanation to it, and if there was, I totally missed it. Because she looks like what's her face? Kirisu. Yeah.
Christina.
Yeah. She looks exactly like her, like a slightly younger version. Has similar quirks, but then you have Amadeus, who is essentially the AI recreated Makase Kirisu. So, like, what was the point of Kagari other than she's
extending the story, basically?
Okay.
I talked to you guys about that. The guy who wrote Steins Gate, which is the same who wrote Occultic 9 and Chaos Head, Chaos Child, Robotic Notes.
Oh boy.
All the science adventure stuff.
Yeah, the science adventure thing. He's not good
the
with
occultic
continuation.
Sci-fi
He's just
stuff.
not good. He's one-time do thing. When he writes the story, he doesn't write a story thinking of a continuation, because a lot of the things he says in the story and a lot of the concepts he says make sense on that story, but doesn't make sense in a continuation. And with Steins Gate Zero, you see that because why Okabe Rintaro doesn't want to go back and do all of that again? Why he risks himself to stop World War III to happen in the Alpha World line instead of going and traveling to another world line? Because he knows that it doesn't matter. Because at the end, it's only him who will be saved.
Right.
The people from that world line, they are not saved. Because there's different world lines, and he's the only one jumping from one to another. Which means the world line he abandoned, it will keep going, and it will eventually reach World War III.
Yeah, so that was a major issue I had with Steins Gate Zero. Like, at least in the original Steins Gate, the motivation was he wants to stay in this singular world line, right? And save who he needs to save. In Steins Gate Zero, he is aware of how everything's going to go down, the consequences to his actions. If he skips around world lines, then he knows that, like you said, that world line's going to continue with or without him. It doesn't matter. So, like, the answer to me is pretty obvious. Just go to the world line that you want. You know, that you want your want your outcome. Why is that so like hard of a concept?
He doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that. That is the point.
Well,
you understand that his actions only lead to escapism. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to do the good for the people who are with him now. What is the point of going to another world line if you can't save the world line you're in? He doesn't want that. That's why he's against traveling through world line.
Yeah, but then he changes his mind, and the whole series gets, like, really out of whack.
He didn't change his mind. Actually, what changed was the time travel theory they were using, where they went from the multiple world lines to a single world line.
Right, they want to have a convergence of world lines, rather than skipping around, like the first series, right?
That happened at the end. No, like the convergence of world line is basically a point in the world line where it needs to be. The world line will happen. It will reach that point, no matter what you do, which is basically like Maki Sekurisu or Mayuri death. They will die no matter what you do.
Right.
But Maki Sekurisu is not a convergence line because you can fake the death and it will change world lines because of that. But Mayuri in the beta world line is a convergence point. You cannot get away of that. She will die, and they talk about at some point the world line changes by itself, and Rintaro goes to the beta world line where he understands that Okabe Rintaro from beta world line made everything so Mayuri had a peaceful death. You learn that instead of being pushed in front of a train, get shot, get ran over by cars, everything, she went to sleep and died in sleep peacefully. Because that Okabe Rintaro said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to postpone the death as much as I want until she has a peaceful death. It is the same idea Okabe Rintaro from the Alpha world line has. I don't want to travel anymore. I want to stay in this one and do what I want and do what I can to stop World War III. Of course, he can't. And since he can't, instead of the guy thinking of a better plot, he just said, okay, now we just have one world line. And he can travel back in time with the time leap machine, which wasn't a time leap machine, it was a world line leap machine. He can actually time leap in the same world line and change the world line he's in instead of just going to another world line. This is a major plot hole that is in Steins Gate Zero. Again, because the guy is not good with continuation. He didn't build Steins Gate to have a continuation, and so those plot holes, they start appearing.
And it's all the same characters as well, with the exception of Kaguri and
the professors, Leniscan and Lolly Girl.
Yeah, God, I did not like Lolly Girl at all.
Oh, I like her.
Maho.
It's alright. Maho.
Oh, Lintaro!
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 Like, the American professor was kind of over the top a bit, and him being revealed.
No, in Steins Gate, never.
Yeah, right. He being revealed to be the whole bad, the big bad, essentially. That wasn't a nation, basically, or Saren. It's not about Saren this time. It's more about Liskinen wanting the time machine.
Yeah, but like Soren in Steins Gate Zero is also a big plot hole.
Right.
Because what happened in Steins Gate, why Soren got involved, because the lab members, they needed the acceleration particle machine to compress the D-mail and then send it back in time. In this world they didn't do that. And so Soren is not involved.
Didn't they base Saren not getting involved due to the fact they never hacked their system?
Yeah.
Yeah, but dude, Russia and the United States are doing tests with time machines, and Soren is like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, CERN didn't get involved because one, they didn't hack their server, and because they didn't send email in Steins Gate Zero.
Right.
Because the email was how they tracked them down in Steins Gate.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there was a lot of instances in the show I noticed where whenever you had a question like why didn't Saren get involved, it was a simple sentence. You saw it one time, and that was their explanation, and they never hit on it again.
Yeah, although Russia and the United States are making successful tests with time machines, while CERN is trying to do the same thing and transforming people into bananas and into goo in time, and they should be involved in this conflict, but that is fine.
This was definitely another instance. This was definitely another instance, just like the first Steins Gate, where the first half was real slow. And then in the second half, it really picked up. However, the first half of Steins Gate, it had that payoff halfway through that made any fan of it just go, "Whoa, this is everything made sense and came together." I didn't get that in Steins Gate Zero. The first half just felt like it almost didn't need to exist, or it could have been one episode, and then you just had, the second half after that. Did you guys get that feeling at all?
That's why you need the first Steins Gate and the alternative ending for the first part. Because you have that climax. The climax build changes, because then when he fails, he's just like, I can't anymore. Let's just stop everything, and then you start Steins Gate Zero. You have a little bit of a time skip, and then you start Steins Gate Zero. The climax build and payoff are different. But if you go only with Steins Gate, it's Steins Gate Zero. If you go only with Steins Gate Zero, yes, it lacks, because it was built, it was meant to not have that.
Right. No, I get that, but even because I'm a fan of the first Steins Gate. I do like that. Moving on to Steins Gate Zero, that first half was just because we already witnessed the climax, we already know what's happening. It just kind of lacked that. All right, what's going to happen? What's the motivation here? Why should I, the viewer, even care if the whole main character's premise is, I don't want to do anything, I'm so sad.
You gotta introduce the other people. Gotta introduce Leskinen. Gotta introduce Maho. Gotta get everybody in there.
They weren't even like spouting theories, because there was a lot of instances and banter between Okabe and Kirisu kind of figuring out the time machine. In this, they tried to replace that with him and Maho, and their banter was nothing.
Yeah.
The first part is more of a action. It's not that sci-fi, or like, let's not get shot by the Russian and the American.
Well, that was the whole second half, was trying to figure out how to avoid the missile hitting the time machine, basically.
Yeah.
But like the first half is more like Amadeus and what it works and
Yeah, and I just did not care. Did you care, Hickey? Did you care about Amadeus?
I care because yeah.
Yes.
Because I know what would happen. I know in advance what would happen.
Oh.
Also,
well, you played all the games, right?
Is an original. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know.
And the novels. I've read them.
Well,
it's fine. The ending was different from the game, the true ending. And the game, if you're curious, he uses the time machine, which is in the background in the anime they're building. He uses that to go back in time instead of Daru's daughter, the part-time warrior.
And
it ends like that. It's the same thing as in the anime they use the time leap machine, and there's no conclusion. And the game is the same, which is I count as a bad ending.
Yeah, I didn't care for the ending myself. I mean, it was this whole grand like climax system of everything like magically being fixed out of nowhere. He just has it, and.
Yeah, I just need to live.
Tori, what are your thoughts over Steins Gate Zero?
I enjoy Steins Gate Zero. It's nowhere near as much as I enjoyed the first one, and I don't think this needed to be a thing in general.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's always disappointing whenever you get something, like, even if I do, when you get something like, oh, this one was fucking amazing, then you get something else, it's like, yeah, it was fun, I guess. You got the same character, you got more, but it's kind of the problem that Steins Gate's had the entire time, right? Because if you know, people love Steins Gate.
Oh yeah,
then you have everything. Then you have everything else. You have the movie that came out. You have like what else? And even the fans of Steins Gate, they hate that fucking movie so much. It is like
the movie is fine.
Well, maybe so, but again, fine down from what a lot of people consider near perfect. That's not really that good. But ultimately, I enjoyed Steins Gate Zero for what it is. Like, I basically got into it on the basis that what it was advertised as here in the West, which was a alternative ending to the original ending.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, sure. In a world where Kurisu died and whatnot, and then, kind of just see a different side of Okabe. And I like seeing a different side of Okabe. Okabe is at his best when he is Hoen Kyoma, but it's like, it's kind of fun seeing that other side of him as well shine through a little bit more, even if it is depressed, like, I don't want to do this anymore kind of guy. It's a nice little difference. And then of course when he finally returns to Hoen Kyoma, even though he fakes it, it's like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, he does fake it. I didn't like that personally.
I loved it.
Just came out forced.
Yeah,
well, I ended up giving it a 5 out of 10 personally. I just never got into it. Seeing the different side of Rintaro, like, started out well and good, and then it quickly just didn't care. I didn't like the new characters. I didn't like the endless amounts of plot hole. And I get it; it's a time travel show that's going to happen. But I thought it was very weak in execution with everything. So.
But it's the same problem that Steins Gate had as well. Like, if you want to sit down and talk plot holes, and then you can look at the original Steins Gate as well, it is nowhere near a tight written story.
No. I mean that's
yeah. The problem with the plot holes in Steins Gate, like, they are tied together. So like you have the weak and sloppy theories that kind of back them. But the problem is with Steins Gate Zero is it has its own plot holes, and the theories they use to support the plot holes, they get in conflict with the plot holes and the theories of the first one.
Yeah.
Creating more plot holes.
Yeah. Alrighty. What'd you guys give it? I'm sure it's higher than my score.
I gave it a 7.
I think I gave it a 7, and I think the My Anime List score, which is I think it's 8.78, is too high.
Yeah,
8.78.
Let's just take something into consideration first. This one had like a 9.5 before it even came out.
That is true. That is true. Let's see. Anime Planet has it at a 4.5 out of 5. So that's like a 9 out of 10. Fuck.
People, I mean, I'm just the kind of thing that I'm right.
This is overhyped. This is
it is
real.
This is the kind of thing that annoys me because I was on Reddit. And I looked at people there, and I see people making discussion threads going, "Why Steins Gate, even Steins Gate 0, should be a compulsory 9 by all anime." And I'm like,
what?
No. Yeah, no, I don't get this sort of mentality. Yeah. It's like, no, you don't give a good score just because this has Steins Gate attached to it.
Yeah. Like Steins Gate 0, when it opens, you have 26 episodes of Steins Gate. You open Steins Gate 0 with, I can't remember her name. Daughter's daughter. Fuck me. I keep forgetting her name. She opens, oh, by the way, I wasn't alone in the fucking time machine. There was another person. It's like, it's been 2 years and you haven't talked about it. What the fuck?
Yeah, you think that'd be worth mentioning?
Yeah, that would be really important to mention at the beginning.
Yeah, well, it just proves how much the character didn't need to be there.
Nah, man, it's been so many years. She dropped her off. What was it? She dropped her off in 10 years before the start of before the start of Steins Gate.
Yeah. All right.
Something like that.
Let's I think that's enough Steins Gate.
Yeah,
let's move on.
Keep moving.
All right, so the next anime here, as I mark down 123. Next one we're reviewing is Cells at Work.
Woo.
Something that I had my eye on before the summer season started, and I was curious to see if it was going to turn out well. A lot of people said before I watched all 13 episodes in a week. I watched the first couple episodes, and then I didn't watch it for the whole season, and then I finished it in a week. But a lot of people said it started out well, and then it shit the bed. I don't see anybody saying it shit. I didn't see how it shit the bed, personally.
It's very repetitive.
It is. I mean, it is repetitive, but it stuck with that same formula that the show started with, and it didn't get worse. Just stayed the same.
Biology is repeat.
Right?
It is.
It was biology class with anime characters.
No, it is, right? But, I mean, at the same time, it is one of those things where ultimately, yes, but this isn't... You're talking also about an entertainment medium, right? You need to keep a certain level of entertainment. And I know for myself, by around the halfway point, I was just going into an episode going more information. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm aware of this. Yeah, I've had some biology myself. Yeah, okay, I know this. Okay.
Alrighty,
yeah.
So...
Moving on.
Yeah, so it's by David Production, the JoJo Studio. I'm reading this from Anime Planet. Strep throat, hay fever, influenza. The world is a dangerous place for a red blood cell just trying to get her deliveries finished. Fortunately, she's not alone. She's got a whole human body's worth of cells ready to help out. The mysterious white blood cell, the buff and brash killer T cell, the nerdy neuron, even the cute little platelets. Everyone's got to come together if they want to keep you healthy. So it's it's a characterization inside your body of it's basically it's Osmosis Jones but anime, and instead of an overall plot, it was an episodic adventure through the body following a red blood cell delivering oxygen to different parts of the body to the cells that need it. And trying to, yeah. The whole joke was she was really bad at directions, a la Zoro from One Piece, and she gets lost constantly. And in getting lost, she this red blood cell learned about other cells and what they do in the body, their jobs, meet different types of germs and what they do, how they affect the body. So it's a really smart show in the sense that it has all the facts straight and correct, and then presents it in a way for you to learn, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but doesn't make a good show. Well, as Tori, you mentioned, you know, by the midway point, you're just like, yeah, okay, it's another learning type episode. We're gonna learn about this, and this. And to a degree, yeah, you know, some episodes were better than others for sure, being that it was an episodic nature. 3 episodes stood out to me the most, and that was when, like, the shit went down episode. So for example, episode 7 was the cancer cells. And I really liked that episode because it felt like, you know, there was more to it than just
Yeah, they tried to redeem cancer cells.
I know, that was
that was really
fucking
funny.
dumb.
It was really funny how the cancer cells were like, I mean, in a way, it kind of made sense.
Cancer cells are just misunderstood.
We didn't want to be like this. No, I get it, but you're a danger.
You're a danger, and the white blood cell has to murder him anyways. I did like how they presented the cells as, because your cells are in a programming and they have to do what they're programmed to do, and that's all they know. So that's why a lot of the cells didn't they didn't come off as blaming each other a lot of the times. So in the last couple episodes, which were definitely my favorite, when they're going through like hemorrhage shock. So like the human the human that they're in, I guess suffered a major blow to the head and was going through shock. So the red blood cells had to stick to their programming and deliver cells to where the oxygen needed to be, in, you know, where the wound would be. But they kept getting sucked out, and then I was teaching you how the body was going to get colder, and everyone in the kind of neuron center just goes, well, shit, what do we do? Well, obviously raise the blood pressure. That's how we're going to do it, but that's how your body would react. So I did like whenever things like that would happen in the show. It happened a few times. The characterization of
whose body is this?
He what?
The guy went from, I wonder whose body is this? The guy went from a abrasion to a cold to getting fucking stabbed in the guts.
Yeah. He's got a rough life.
Well,
it's an abrasion. Like, oh, this is just so Japanese. Yeah. They're getting all worked out because of an abrasion in the skin. And the last episode, the guy got fucking stabbed and died. I was like, holy fuck, who's this guy? He's a Yakuza Mango or something.
Well, a fan on Twitter, because I was posting on Twitter, like, some of the better moments in the show, person on Twitter pointed out to me that there's a continuation of the show where... Yeah,
no, it's a spin-off.
It's a spin-off focused on...
Cells that work black.
Yeah.
Which is based on a body whose... the person smokes and drinks a lot, so, like, everything is not working.
Everything's not good. Apparently there's an STD chapter in it, and...
Yeah,
I was like, somehow I don't think that's going to make it to an anime form unless it's an OVA.
Cells that work black is quite good as well.
I'm definitely interested in that. I mean, if it comes to anime OVA or something, I'd probably definitely watch it. You know, I can't say I didn't. I definitely enjoyed the show. It was, like I said, some episodes were better than others. I thought it was animated quite well. I definitely liked a lot of the character art. You know, even the moe kind of platelets didn't bother me because they didn't really come off as, you know, totally moe. They were just sticking to their jobs, you know, fixing parts of the bodies and areas that they needed to. They were always in construction or what have you. The white blood cell was definitely pretty funny, how he's always following her around and just brutally murdering all these germs all the time. I did get a kick out of that. That never got old, because you always met like a new germ and then you'd slice him up. I do think that if the show had more kind of the multi-part episodes and focused more on horrible things happening to the body, I think that would have brought the show up to be better. You know, The singular episodes were okay.
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
But I understand you. I agree that they should focus on like more serious stuff, but I disagree because of a simple flu, an influenza virus, to your body is a big calamity.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if we were talking about our cells perspective, I think fighting an influenza would be a big calamity. Or even like they talk about abrasion and all the germs and bacteria that enters through the wound. That is a huge problem to your body, at least. For you, you're like, well, I got it. Doesn't matter. I went out in the snow and my skin is bleeding. Right, Tony?
Yep. Now, here's what I think about this show. I think this show could have been. This show is the sort of person you would do is like kind of, you're in biology class in middle school or something. It's just like, well, we've got a chapter about or we're going to talk a bit about cancer and whatnot. Let's put on an episode of this. That's where I think it would have been suited best. I don't think it's like just for the general viewer, right? Especially if you've gone through middle school or high school or whatnot and gone through biology and whatnot. A lot of this stuff is kind of just repeat stuff you've heard before. So like I said, it's enjoyable for a while, but after a certain point, it's kind of like, yep, and here comes the white blood cells, and they murdered shit, and let's go to the next episode, and here come the white blood cells, and they murdered shit. And by the way, those fucking white blood cells, they are psychotic as hell.
Well, they have to be.
Murder.
I think one of the funniest parts in the show was definitely when Red Blood Cell gets her rookie in training her Kohai, and they're walking around, and that's when they come across White Blood Cell, and as she's like, this is White Blood Cell. No, he's actually really cool. Don't worry about that. And he's just murdering a germ, just pounding into it. And he's trying to have a conversation with her. And there's just the other Red Blood Cell going, what the fuck is happening?
He's doing his job.
He's just doing his job, but he's brutally murdering something right in front of her, just having a casual conversation. I did like the heat stroke episode. The episodes I didn't like was, for example, the one where it was Red Blood Cell kind of at the training school where they first get started. They're not technically red blood cells yet. I don't remember the exact name. It just kind of overemphasized how much she gets lost all the time, and it's like, okay, I've seen that a thousand times.
She's a red blood cell. She doesn't have the cell nucleus.
Well,
so of course she will be lost. She's just your red blood cells. They're not thinking. They're just traveling through your bloodstream. So like that's why she's lost all the time, because she doesn't have the nucleus to guide her.
So, killer T cell. And,
biology is fun.
Yeah, but I mean, biology's was never my favorite course in school by a long shot. I mean,
my lord, I remember everything.
Yeah, like I didn't remember anything from. God, when did I guess it was grade 7 when you learn about like the human body and these things. No, definitely earlier than that.
What? I had biology classes with that until at the end of high school.
For us, it kind of came and went. It was kind of shoehorned in with general science, so we got it multiple times. And it's kind of like, it was never something I liked or cared about all that much. It was something like, yeah, I'm going to study this until we get a test on it, and then I'll do well on that test, and then never think about it again.
Yeah, I was definitely in that same frame of mind, Tori. Like, fuck, I'm the geologist. I don't give a shit about living things. I want the rocks.
You should know how to treat your wounds and how to take better care of yourself.
So we've had anthropomorphized, or oh god, whatever that word is. I can't even speak. So we've had the humanoid minerals to the humanoid cells now. What's
humanoid
next?
Everything.
What's next?
Humanoid vacuum cleaners. That's a thing, by the way. That's a thing. That's a real thing.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think that's a.
You can't be serious.
No, I'm serious. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it got cancelled, but there was a project to anthropomorphize like house things.
Yep. You got the anthropomorphized. You got the anthropomorphized onsens that Hickey's to.
Yes. Yes. I don't know why, but half of them I got. But that's fine. I have anthropomorphized Japanese constitution article, which is an extra book, and I really want that. But it's expensive because it was, released in 2007. So nowadays it's very rare and very expensive.
So I ended up giving Cells at Work a 7 out of 10. Pretty good. It was fine. A little bit above that.
Yeah.
Tori, you dropped it, correct?
Yep. I gave it a drop out of 10.
A dropped out of 10. I say give the last 2 episodes a watch. Those two were really good.
Just random stab. I gave it a 7.
All right, so we're on the same page with Cells at Work.
Yep.
I don't think I don't think it's worth rewatching unless you end up coming across someone who really likes biology, wants to.
Or you're having biology classes.
Yeah. If you've got a biology test coming up,
Yeah, well, I mean, shit. My biology tests were never that intricate to the Cells at Work, what they were explaining.
Well, when it come to classes, my test was there was a cell image, and it's I need to put the just fill the blanks with what each part of the cell was and things like that.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special. So, and I never had to take any biology in college, so that was nice. No, I took biology in Germany, and that's when I probably learned the most crazy shit.
I mean, I had to learn what makes you die. Nice. So when
getting stabbed.
Getting stabbed.
So because usually there's the body, and the medic comes to you and gives you the basically what happened to the body, and you need to look and see what actually caused the death of the guy, because usually the guy got shot, but he didn't die because he got shot. He died because he had this other problem that was already manifesting, things like that. So I learned that kind of biology and medical knowledge.
Did you learn how to hide the body after?
I think everyone should know that. That's all I need. I mean, you can use lime if you want to. Just don't mix with aluminium. Lime and aluminium, it will make a chemical reaction, and it will release hydrogen, and hydrogen is highly inflammable.
Lawyers, ladies and gentlemen.
I do my best.
All right, shall we move on to your last show, Tori?
Sure, but before that, Manchester United versus Newcastle update. It's now 2-2.
What?
Yep.
Tomfoolery is this?
I'm sure people really care.
And Anthony Martial scored? Anthony Martial? Yep. Who the hell is that?
Anthony Martial.
Not familiar with him.
French guy. Formerly of Monaco. Anyways, nobody cares about this. Let's move on to my last one. Yes. And remember when I said that Grand Blue could have been a comedy of the season for me, but it just lost out?
Uh-huh.
Well, this is the show that it lost out to. Asobi Asobase. And the synopsis from Mal is Hanako, athletically, holy shit, I can't pronounce that. Hanako, an athletically proficient yet thick-headed student with a weird fashion sense, plays a game with the American transfer student Olivia. However, their vigor irritated their classmate Kasumi, who dislikes playing games since she has always been teased by her sister for being bad at them. Mm-hmm. With a turn of events, it was found out that Kasumi is terrible at English. Thus, she asked her foreign classmate Olivia to help her. But Olivia, who is only born and raised in Japan with foreign parents, can't actually speak English at all. Watch over these three girls' surreal school life comedy. And That is absolutely a horrible synopsis, but that did happen in the first episode. That was one of the jokes.
Sounds like a Mal synopsis.
Yep. And basically, surreal comedy is the best way. It's probably the best way to put it. What I love about this show is that it catches you completely off guard. It starts playing this very shoujo-esque slice of life opening, showing you these beautiful girls, calm, pure, dressed in white. They're epitome. They're the best. Like they look like just pure angels. And then you get thrown into fiery hell of fucking horrible jokes and people being literal dicks to each other. Fucking like it is absolutely hilarious. This does fucking like comedy, like facial reactions and all kinds of stuff like that. Just to the some of the best I've seen in a long time.
And then after the first episode, where you got tricked by the opening, and you're asking yourself, what the fuck is going on? You just got hit by the ending.
Yeah, that ending goes in, and the ending fucking death metal. But it fits the show so well. Season. Oh, it was fantastic. I love that. It was great.
Oh, I loved it.
And when I say horrible jokes, by the way, I mean it. I mean like the episode where they have like they formed this club, or it's not officially recognized as a club because there are not enough members. It's just those three, and but they drag a pool in to have fun in. They swim. They swim in the pool. Well, they first try out that like floating handbag thing, but like so they spill water, and water spills out and flows out from under the door. The teacher walks by, and he sees this, and he knocks on the door, and he asks, what's going on? What is up with this? And they panic because, against school regulations, you can't have a pool inside the classroom, obviously. So, panicking, fucking Hanako, she just shouts out, "This is Olivia's piss." And the teacher's like, "Oh, well then." But he is not quite convinced. Is it really piss? So he decides to go in for a taste. So he dips his finger in the water and tastes it. And he realizes, this is just water. And then he has this short little cut where he's just like, he's disappointed that it's not piss.
Yeah.
That's like, and then he kind of just gets back up. Just like, Hanako, did you just lie to me? Yes. And it's got so many of those little things like that, and I just love.
Oh, you have Maeda, which is the butler of Hanako's family, and he has a implanted alien laser thing in his butt because he got abducted, and the aliens just put a probe inside of him. You got the cross-dressing girl, like the cross-dressing man in the school. Oh man! So you got the game. The game with the dude, that joke was the best. Basically,
the German one or the
game, and you have those beautiful and very cute mascots, and they start playing with it, and then Hanako is just going freely with the bunny, and suddenly you just listen a shot from a fucking sniper, and the contents of the bunny brain just spills out. Like holy.
The hyper graphical fucking battle royale in a smartphone game.
I was like, I wasn't expecting to be that gruesome.
Neither were they. Those reactions. I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah, when she runs, it's like, no, you're gonna die, and just like, and everything explodes, and the character just. Realistic, keeps walking for a little bit and just drops down.
You're still not quite dead yet, as the body's just convulsing on.
Yeah, that joke was heavy as fuck. I loved it.
It was beautiful. Like that show, it's got just a shit ton of that. Like it is the way I described it. It's not quite, but the best way I will like for people that don't know, it's kind of similar to Nichijou in that it's, it takes like a joke, plays it out, and then it moves on to the other one. There's no like overlying story. There are multiple jokes in a show, but it kind of keeps that thing going the entire time. But the way I see it is like this is Nichijou. If Nichijou was vulgar as hell,
That is a good way to put it. Yes.
So yeah, that is just really, really enjoyable. And I absolutely loved it. I laughed out loud in pretty much every single episode at multiple times. It just very rarely failed to crack me up. It failed to crack me up in the final episode. I think the final episode was kind of it didn't even feel like a final episode. It was just another episode with jokes, and then it ended. It's so, as far as endings go,
I mean, it had a little bit of RAG as well, which was very cool. You can go on the Twitter and search for one of the teachers' Twitter account, and you find it.
Yeah,
quite cool. Quite cool.
I know. I like when they do stuff like that.
It went live at the same time they were showing the episode in Japan. It was quite cool.
Yep. No, it's just a lot of fun.
Alrighty.
Let's see. What I end up giving it in the end. I ended up giving it I give it an 8, yeah.
I had a lot of fun. A few jokes weren't that. But it was great anyway. The teacher was just I wish the male teacher would appear more.
Oh yeah, no, he was great. I like it though,
and he just breaks his gong.
Yeah, he throws his back out because it's like, oh, they want to play with me. I should do something. It's like, oh, he's such a good teacher. Fucking throws his back. I was like, oh, you didn't need that. I was a bit over exaggerated. I love it though. You have the episode with the or the joke with the occult girls as well, when they make cookies and they have him try it. It's just like, no, this could be the most horrible shit at all. And then he tastes it, and he just gets, that blissful thing you do when you eat very good food, and it's just like, it tastes normal. It's a perfectly normal cookie. Just kind of goes to show how fucking grounded his expectations were.
Okay, on to Hickey's last show, which is Review Starlight. That's by the same guy who made Moaru Penguin Room, correct?
Nope.
No, it's by one of his students.
Okay.
It's not Kuniru.
The name is Shoujo Kageki Revue Starlight. Revue being a French word that is actually a type of play where people dance and sing, and they are not idols. First thing to mention about this show, they are not idols. They are actual actresses in training. My anime list synopsis is very shitty, so I'll do one on the top of my head. Basically, you follow one of the classes of this very prestigious art school in Japan, and they are all actresses. They decided at the beginning of high school they wanted to make the same play 3 times, one for each year, in a festival, the school festival. So they did 1 year, and in the second year they will repeat. But in the second year this time, a girl called Hikari, which is the best friend of another main character called Karin Honjo, she comes back from Japan because she went to study in the Royal Arts Academy in Great Britain. So she's back, and she'll be part of the revue. In the meantime, they start Karin, Hikari, and a bunch of other characters that were main characters in the last play. They start participating in auditions where basically there's a giraffe, and the girls fight each other while singing and dancing in a very choreography and beautiful way, where the main point is to take out a button out of a shirt, out of a coat. The coat will fall on the ground, the other person will win, and whoever wins at the end will get the starlight. And they go and dissect what it is, and actually they don't do that, but anyway.
It's a metaphor.
Basically, the progression of the play, the preparations for the play, a little bit of character building here and there, and the fights in the background. Very cool anime. Very cool anime. By one of the students of Ikuhara, and you can see the hand of Ikuhara in this work, although his student, which name is, I don't know, guy.
You need the director name?
Yeah, the director name.
Tomohiro Furukawa.
Yeah, Furukawa. Although he is different from Ikuhara because he tried things to be more sober without that symbolism and subjectiveness Ikuhara really likes to make, to camouflage his clever writing to the end. This guy is more clever, he's more grounded, which I appreciate.
So I have the Anime Planet synopsis, if you don't mind me reading that real quick.
Sure.
After receiving a mysterious invitation to audition for a coveted spot with Starlight, a popular musical revue troupe, starstruck contestants begin honing their talents and competing against each other for a chance of a lifetime. Among the hopefuls are childhood friends Karen and Hikari, who once promised each other that they would take the stage together. With each contender working tirelessly hard to win, it's the girls' passionate dedication to their lifelong dream that truly transform their performances as the curtain rise. Okay, it doesn't really tell me much about the show.
No. You can. What you need to know is there's this review. They're going. They're trying to make a review again, the same one to repeat with a little bit of changes for the school festival. Meanwhile, a few characters they are going through this. It's not a battle royale, but like a championship kind of thing to become the biggest store and to achieve this star line that happened in the background, and it's organized by a giraffe. That's
symbolism.
What's going on?
Symbolism.
It's not even symbolism because there's no symbolism. You learn that
in the end. But yeah.
But basically, the story it's quite fun to watch. I had a lot of fun. My problem with the story is what we were discussing in the pre-show, at least me and Tori. The story ends in a logical lockdown where the writer, and that's something you use in arguments as well. When you have an argument and you make it seem it's the cause of its effect, then the effect is also the cause of its cause. So you get in a circle and you can break the circle. That's basically what they try to do with this one. But to make it work, he couldn't use the symbolism, or a few strings of the story would end up loose and people wouldn't understand. A few review stages they fight in, they are only meant to be used once. So like there's one character which her name is Mahiru, and she's jealous of Karen for a few reasons. She's more jealous of Hikari because Karen was her starlight, and so she's kind of sad since Hikari came back. She's on the sidelines. And you have Havu, which is the stage of jealousy or something. It basically tells the story of her friendship with Karen. It only works with Karen, that Havu. If she's fighting other people, she cannot use that, although she still uses the same thing. So she's telling the same story to other people. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Other characters have the same problem because they are preparing for the logic lockdown. There's also a change they do because Hikari, at the middle of the series, you learn she actually participated in other auditions with the same giraffe, but in England. And they tell you at the end something happens. That is fine. The episode right after that one, you have another character which is Dai Banana, best character of this thing.
Horrible name.
Banana is best name.
You don't name somebody Die Banana, anyways.
You learn for the jokes, of course. Everything went nicely for Banana. You learn that she's actually winning the auditions for like at least 5 years, I think. But then they put another mechanic into the winning the audition, the giraffe audition, where you can make a wish. So her wish is to go back in time, and she's just repeating and repeating and repeating the first Starlight they did in the first year of high school, over and over again, because she's winning the auditions and then becoming the top star. Becoming the top star, she's going back in time. It doesn't make a lot of sense, and when it goes into some Steins Gate territory where even in Steins Gate wasn't well explained. Also, they changed the mechanics of things, but still, the logic lockdown at the end, it is great. It is very creepy as well. Dai Banana, there's a part of the series where she gives you a hint to what the logic lockdown is, and when it comes, it hits you. And it's like, oh my god, this is creepy as fuck because this is happening. Overall, at the end, it is good. There's a lot of flaws in the story, but it is the flaws you'd see with any logical lockdown argument.
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen in the speeches, and why not? So it is, at the end, you can ignore it. Also, just to remember, this anime had a very threat. It wouldn't finish in time because the studio had a few problems with personnel and money. So a few times characters are talking to each other, but the lips are not moving. They are acting, like, you're seeing her face. The face is just turning to you, and they are talking, but the lips are not moving because they had to cut it off. A few of those frames, they had to save up a little bit of money instead of they taking off money from animating the choreography and movement. They took off from lip movement and things like that, which I think it was a good strategy because
it's the same studio that brought us Made in Abyss and Barakamon. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, but
I mean, everyone can get in trouble.
It was lack of planning. It was lack of a plan and management because Starlight was announced in 2011, 2012, the project. But the plan was so bad, they couldn't finish the anime in time after fucking 5 years, 7 years.
Oh, wow.
But it's still... The punchline is great. I think everyone should watch because of the punchline. Because the punchline, Tori can tell by himself, the punchline is just great.
Wakarimasu.
Alrighty, what'd you end up scoring it in the end?
I gave it an 8. I was thinking about giving a 9 because of the punchline, but then I wait, I breath.
Mm-hmm.
I took a deep breath and said, okay, there's too many problems I cannot ignore, but the punchline.
Okay, fair enough.
In Banana.
Wow, I give it a 7.
It's not too far off.
I thought about giving it a 7, but I was like, okay, I really enjoy this show, and I think an 8 is fine. Between a 7 and an 8 doesn't.
I almost want to see fucking Kunihiko Ikuhara himself try his hand at that show just to see how different that would be.
I don't think it would be that good, actually.
Probably wouldn't, but it would be interesting.
Because it was made, when you start seeing the show, although you have a little subjectiveness with the giraffe and things like that, it was made to be a sober show. It wasn't made to be filled up with the subjectiveness and symbolism Ikuhara can put on things. Although I think the show lacks a lot of reference. It would be good if it had more references. Maybe story references that are very that appears in the literature, especially Greek literature. You have a lot of stories that will feel in here really good and be a reference to people being entertained when the show is being too sober.
I don't know. I think he could make something interesting, but mostly I would want to see just to tackle the whole metaphors and whatnot. Because I mean, like I've said before, Ikuhara, he is fucking crazy anyway. So it would be it might not be good, but it would certainly be a spectacle.
Yeah, it would be spectacular to watch. I agree with that. But the meta work is Ikuhara's level.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot of like the direction quirks and whatnot. It's kind of like
the direction quirks. I think
not a lot of people watched Revu Starlight, at least according to Mal.
It was in High Dive. It is in High Dive. It's a High Dive exclusive. High Dive chooses the anime to be the exclusive anime quite well. Usually they don't go to the most popular one, but definitely whoever chooses the anime to be exclusive, they're doing a good job. Although they also give a little bit of trash because I think they need the traction. The other ones, they usually are very good and underrated. So you can go there, JD, and watch it. You can watch the giraffe.
Okay. Well, speaking of shows that not a lot of people are watching, that brings us to our last one, which is Lupin the Third, Part 5.
Woo!
Something Tori and I are definitely... Man, what a good anime. Let's say that right away.
Oh, dude, those final episodes, that made me so happy.
What didn't make me happy is what happened at the end of the Manchester United-Newcastle game.
Oh, yeah, United won.
United came back, tied at 2-2 in the 90th minute. Alexis Sanchez got the game-winning goal, because it was Manchester United time.
Well, not really.
Figures!
You can't say a couple seconds in overtime is Manchester United time.
Absolutely is. Alrighty, so, Lupin Part 5, taking the synopsis from not my Animist, Anime Planet. Lupin's current target, a key to a certain server facility. Once obtained, the information of all the customers and their funds from the world's largest online bank will be in Lupin's hands. There, they find the developer of the security system of the bank, Amlita. I don't remember them saying that, but Ami is what she's called. Lupin and Jigen successfully capture Ami and bring her to their hideout. However, almost immediately upon their arrival, Zenigata and his men surround the place. Being at a loss as to why their location was exposed so easily, they discover an online show going viral. The show's name, Arrest Lupin the Third. So, the first half was, I believe we spoke about it at the end of the spring season? Or we kind of touched on it, didn't we, Tori?
I think so.
So just to quickly recap of what happened in the first half was basically the Lupin game, where it was an online server where everyone can basically post where he was all the time, basically, to put it simply enough. And he escapes to like a secluded nation or something that was off the international, like, UN, I guess, so they couldn't arrest him there.
Mm. Yeah, it's outside of the ICPO territory. Or ICPO, like the countries that contribute to or cooperate with ICPO, so they don't have any jurisdiction there.
Right.
You know, politics stuff.
Political stuff. And pretty fun stuff. I quite liked it, the Lupin game. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I liked Ami, the character, and her kind of discovery of being, you know, kind of outside the internet type world and into the real world, and Lupin was kind of bringing that to her.
Ami's just a great like catalyst for that, you know, new age Lupin.
Absolutely.
Whole technological side, because it is like, you know, you gotta remember, Lupin's been around since the early 70s, technically since the 60s if you gonna start by the manga. So
right.
They've been around for a while. So, So she's kind of like, you know, the catalyst for the whole, like, new technological. And it's cool seeing Lupin with a bunch of, like, the new gadgets and stuff like that. It's kind of like, he's adapting with time as well.
Yeah, I did like his computer monocle that he had. That, you know, he was able to live stream his heist at the very end. But so the first half ends with him, of course, overcoming. Okay, my Alexa is freaking out. Overcoming the Lupin game. Ami goes to a private school, and then, you know, there's some episodic things thrown in there. Some episodes better than others, for sure.
That one episode in particular.
Yeah, the one episode in particular, that was horrible. But that was the only one that was bad, I would say. Yeah, thankfully. The second half has two parts. Ami gets kidnapped with her friend, who happens to be the princess of a country.
Mm-hmm.
And the country is going through kind of a it's separated into two halves. It's in India, right?
I think so.
Or something. It's something like that. They call it Padar. And so one half of this country is high into the newest technology called People Log, where anything and everything is tied into this one server. And the main guy of People Log, like the developer, is with the king, and he's kind of trying to get all of Padar into People Log, and kind of like no crime, none of this and that. Everything's automated. While the other half is very old school. Think of kind of, oh God, what do I want to say? How do I want to word this? I don't want to say backwards, but it's very traditional. There we go. Everything's very traditional, and there's a civil war breaking out where the traditional side want to take over the more modern side, and a lot of political corruption there, and Lupin and the gang want this jewel while also helping Ami rescue her princess friend. And that has a climax. Then there's a nice little down period where there's a couple episodic episodes there, and then it continues into People Log, how in order this developer to prove that People Log is the best thing ever, and it's gonna you know, change the world. There's not gonna be corruption or anything, because anything you do, anything you've ever done, it's like Facebook, but it grades you on things. So
people put information in. People can put any information about you, and then the AI in People, it reviews that information based on what it knows about this person and where it's likely to be and whatnot, and it grades the likelihood of it being true on a, you know, A to F scale.
Right, and in order for the system to be proven as the best, the guy wants to have Lupin arrested because he's the greatest thief. It's the end of an era type thing. And there's even a sequence where Lupin and Jigen are out in the middle of a field right after Jigen kills like 100 cops. Solo. Jigen asks Lupin, like, "Hey, is it time for retirement? You know, the times are changing. Is there even a place in this world for us anymore?" And Lupin has the most meta, great monologue I've heard in a long time, where he it's like this theatrical performance where he goes, "Oh God, how did it go, Tori?" It went well, why should I do this? I should keep doing it because this is all I know. I don't want to know my future. I want to see where I end up. Something along those lines. So it's hinting that the show could continue, but if it
probably will continue.
Oh yeah, and if it ends, then, you know, so be it. The run was good, kind of thing.
Remember, like, the thing is, he basically, what he says to kind of like shorten it down very much. It's like he entered basically, like, rather than fading out into silence, he wants to go out in the blaze of glory,
right?
Essentially, and I mean, he did.
And that led to and that led to Lupin trying to bring down People Log with his gang and rescue Fujiko, who was captured by the main dude of People Log, who happened to be Ami's father, and he was a piece of shit. and then all of a sudden wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of had a bit of a dad moment as they were sliding down a building that is collapsing after being bombed by the U.S. Like, do you understand when I say that Lupin went out in a blaze of glory?
Yeah. I didn't really care for that really at all, but at least Ami had a nice little kind of final line there where Lupin asks her to, basically join the gang because they got along, and Ami, fell in love with Lupin. And she turns him away, and she goes, "No, I want him to keep surprising me. It's kind of the chase that matters." And that was kind of an underlining plot between the relationship of Lupin and Fujiko throughout the whole time. Like, what does their relationship actually mean? Do they love each other? Why did they break up?
Oh.
Well, did they actually break up, kind of deal? And I'm not going to spoil the whole reveal of that, because that was a good special moment at the end of the show.
Yeah, you also got to remember that throughout the entirety of the Lupin series, Fujiko has married Lupin, I think, twice, at least in the main series.
Yeah,
I can't speak for all the movies and whatnot. There's a lot of others, so it might be a couple more times. She has technically married him twice, and then they broke up. So there's it's kind of like a callback to all the times they spent together, and you understand the. Kind of the affection right in there, but they kind of, again, without spoiling anything, they make a good point as to why it also never really works out, and kind of stuff like that. And I mean, again, you should just watch it. Fujiko explains it better herself why the relationship is like it is.
Well, Ami just straight up ask Fujiko, like, what the hell?
Yeah,
you two obviously mean so much to each other. Why aren't you together? And yeah, it's very well explained, as well as like why Goemon's part of the crew. There's a whole kind of episode dedicated to kind of his internal conflict with Lupin. Like, are they is he the underling? Is he is he friend? Is he a rival?
Can I just say, I absolutely love that scene when he goes into that room and just on the display monitors you see all the times he fought Lupin in the past.
Yeah, and it even showed like the original 70s stuff. Yeah, that was really cool.
The clips they're using are clips from the previous series, and that was just, I had a fucking geek moment right there. I was just, oh my god. I love Lupin. I watched most of Lupin, most of the series anyways, and I'm just like, oh god.
The only Lupin I haven't seen is part 3 and like the second half of part 2, and part 2 has, what is that, over 175 episodes or something?
It's long.
Something like that. I've seen most of the movies. Like, Tori and I are big Lupin marks, that's for sure. But this is, in my opinion, one of the best Lupin series that I can like. I mean, part 4 was really good. I actually want to rewatch part 4 now.
I need to watch part 4. That is one of the things that annoyed me that I didn't watch before this. But I didn't want to go into part 4. No, I didn't need it, but there are. I at least the good thing is that I know the characters, and here's one of the things that I think a lot of people coming into. You can watch Lupin the Third Part 5 without any prior knowledge. That's kind of the part of the course with Lupin. You don't need to know anything. It's a standalone story. Stories, but like what Lupin does is also, in order to get back to fans, it obviously gives callbacks. And I can see, and I've also seen some people being very dissatisfied with the final episodes due to the random appearance of new characters. The thing is, obviously, that is a callback. It's not new characters.
Right.
They're actually old characters. They've been around for quite a while. So it is one of those things, like, it's an Easter egg for long-running fans and people that are returning to the series, but also something that a lot of people that get into this for the first time won't understand. And, I also showed screenshots. I showed a screenshot of the sunken down clock tower, which is a reference to Castle Cagliostro.
I love that.
Hayao Miyazaki's first movie. Like, stuff like that. So there's a lot of Easter eggs in there. Like, as well, even during the Killing Game, a lot of the villains that are there, I think almost all the villains actually, are callbacks to prior villains from the Lupin series.
Yeah, and the show does and what I liked about part 5 is, let's say you kind of forgot about one of the characters or at any point or these locations, they do kind of touch on like what happened, and I think one of my favorite lines was because I totally forgot about one of the characters, and Lupin goes, I think it was Lupin who said it. Maybe it was Fujiko, where they go, no computer or AI programming can predict Lupin because it's not just him and his crew, and it's not what he steals. It's the vast amount of people that he's come to sway over over his time as a thief. And that's what led to kind of this grand scale finale that we saw, and I absolutely love that. And yeah, as we saw in the first half of the show, when it first came out in spring, the like the Rat Crew and that whole family, like you can assume that they're just past characters, and they say like, "Hey, it's been a while," kind of thing.
They have their banter always. Like again. Lupin has always been heavy, like, James Bond inspired and whatnot, so you have a lot of those, like, cheesy one-liners, and it's great.
I love the art style and the kind of French-themed music throughout the entire show. The animation was very crisp. Like, I never found myself just going, that looked bad at any point.
I thought the character designs looked a bit wonky at times. They didn't always perfectly carry over the animation, but it was fine.
I never noticed that myself. I mean, there were definitely some character designs themselves that were better than others, for sure. But Ami as a character, I really enjoyed. Definitely that New Age blood kind of thrown into the show was very much appreciated. I didn't like the out of nowhere kind of being a dad by the people log dude. I didn't like that at the end. That was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I would have definitely rather him just stay a piece of shit.
Yeah, kind of. I also really hope Part 5 isn't the end, because that thing that Lupin does at the end there, I'm like, what the fuck is up with you now? What is this?
Yeah,
when the thing he does in front of Fujiko.
Yeah, I was definitely wondering like what he was gonna say in that, and that definitely threw me for a loop. I didn't see that coming.
Me neither.
I think one of the best parts in the show was when he kind of disappeared for 2 months to avoid people log, and you're wondering like how did he do that, and and whatever, and he's just been hanging out in the clock tower for a couple months, and he became a super WikiLeaks guy.
Yeah,
because people log was supposed to be the next big thing, and all the governments were behind it, like, oh, this is a great idea, and then Lupin just starts having all the countries' like worst secrets and trade deals just online for everyone to see, and that's when the US just goes, oh fuck this, well now people log's a terrorist organization. And I was like that is exactly what would happen.
Dude, I absolutely love that. Even the callback, even the like literal fucking like, just to kind of point out how relevant Lupin is, like Lupin Part 5 is to today. They even multiple times referenced they got in like the new Article 13, the EU law, the quote unquote anti what is it? It's not anti-piracy law. It's the anti what is it? With the meme ban. That's not what it's actually called. Yes, the meme ban. The
wait, there's
whatever
a
the fuck
meme
it's
ban?
called. The EU has made it. Has basically made like a new copyright law that's extremely harsh on creators.
Oh wow!
People
I didn't know
just
that.
exaggerating the law just like they do because they don't understand.
Well, not really. It's not just exaggerated. It is absolutely fucking. No, it isn't. You cannot use anything if it's not below. You can't even show links. You have to pay fucking link tax.
Yep.
Wow. Well, all right. Yeah, to me this is one of the best shows of the year. Easily, it's right up there. And I gave this a 9 out of 10 in the end.
I did not. I gave it a 7.
7? Why so low?
7. That one episode, it was absolutely horrible. And I was thinking of giving it an 8, but that one episode bumped it down for me. I couldn't. Like, that single episode is the single worst episode of Lupin I have ever seen.
That's very true. That's why I gave it a 9, not a 10. Like, that was definitely a full point reduction. That Hickey, you didn't watch Lupin Part 5, did you?
No, that's why I've been quiet for the last 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that
It's not that I don't want to watch it, just that I didn't have the time and I had to choose, and I chose to not watch Lupin.
Well, that as Tori said, that episode in that first half was that bad. I have never seen a Lupin episode that bad before.
Yeah, just to sum it up real fast. A couple of, like, fucking stupid scientists, which is already a dumb kind of concept. A bunch of stupid scientists. They are... no, I mean, they're literally retarded. They're dumb. They have zero brain capacity. But they are scientists, so they can build shit. And they build this impossible safe to break into. Not even Lupin can break into it. Why? What's the logic? How can Lupin not break into this bank? Well, because it is literally impenetrable by anything. There's only one way to go in. And how's that? Well, you need to have your brain capacity tested, and it needs to be 0, which is just so happens to be the only one of the scientists being the only man with zero IQ. It's the only way to break in. Lupin is obviously the smartest man in the world with 300 IQ or whatever. And he cannot break in. So what he has to do is he has to make himself stupid in order to break in. It is so dumb.
Yeah, the rest of the episode is then the Lupin crew basically beating the shit out of him, causing him brain damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh. Damn. Holy shit. What?
It's terrible.
It's a really bad episode.
How a scientist has 0 IQ?
I don't know.
You're not a scientist.
If
anything, you're brain dead.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing has 0 IQ.
I know.
You need to be brain dead to... What?
I think it was. I don't think it was 0. I think it was 1. But
Oh, you can breathe.
Cool.
Barely. No, not manually.
Barely. Only your unconscious reactions are working.
You need to choose between your heartbeat or breathing.
Yep.
So you alternate with the 1 IQ you have.
Yep. But that's what I mean, right? It is absolutely retarded. And don't get me wrong, Lupin has a lot of weird stuff. Like, one of the things that you expect from Lupin is that this is a man who basically, no matter how much logic defiance it is, he can solve any situation. I remember fucking Lupin the Third Part 1, where he, like, got criminals out of a house by launching fucking bamboo sticks at them from across the fucking pond using the trees and a fucking handmade goddamn, like, giant slingshot. It's like, you gotta suspend your disbelief with Lupin, but that was just too much.
I like how Lupin just embraced everything. It was one of the more meta Lupins out there, that's for sure. So, I'm surprised you gave it that low of a score. I mean, I get the bad episode.
No. It was an 8. It was an 8. If it hadn't had that one episode, it would have been an 8. But because of that one episode,
I'm gonna pretend you said 8 then.
But it's no woman called Fujiko Mine.
Fujiko in the show, I loved her role. I did. And her character design in this was absolutely fantastic. Plus, she had sex with Lupin when he was unconscious, I'm pretty sure.
Not the first time. Not the first time she's done that.
I hope if there's a part 6, Ami returns and there's like a little time skip where she's older now. I think that'd be a cool little thing.
It would still be kind of weird because I'm still fairly unsure of the actual age of Lupin and his gang because, remember, they've been around since the 60s.
He's just in his 30s. Just assume.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like, but
yeah.
He's been in his 30s for quite a long time now.
That's okay. It's like The Simpsons. It's like South Park. They'll never get out of like 5th grade or whatever.
No matter how much things change.
Right.
Yeah, but it does become kind of a bit weird when you call backs to like, oh, this is how the world, like treating them like old men, which they are, but they're not. It's like, I guess.
Oh, last week, 1964. What a great week.
There's even an episode where they experience like the where they fight the new Nazis after the fall of fucking Hitler.
Damn right.
Jesus. They are from way back. They're not even from the 60s. They're from way before that. Holy shit.
The moon Nazis. They became Wolfenstein.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see actually part 6 be about Arsène Lupin.
They can do that now, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because remember, originally Lupin was sued and almost cancelled because of copyright issues.
Yeah. But I'd like to see his father and like his antics and how the family like got started and everything. I think that'd be cool for part 6.
It's Lupin, his father. Okay, because this is Lupin the Third, so Arsène Lupin would be his grandfather.
Or the grandfather, yeah. Him too.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. One of the
Before.
family members. I think that'd be really cool. It'd be like it starts out with Lupin the Third, kind of recounting the stories and how he like first became a thief, and then it keeps flashbacking to kind of the family origins.
I mean, you kind of got a bit of that in part 5, though. Like his origin story of the competing for the Lupin the Third title.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that, but
well, anyways, let's move on to why we're all here, which is the retro anime review, which is Aim for the Ace.
Yes.
Gonna play. Ooh, where is it?
Shoujo anime. Oh, shoujo
There it
anime
is.
So good.
Now, it's time we start dealing with the business at hand.
Alrighty. So, Aim for the Ace is a shoujo tennis anime that came out in 1973. So we're going way back yet again. A little bit later than Lupin Part 1.
a little bit, but not by many years.
The other title, the Japanese title is Ace wo Nare, which
Ace wo Nerai.
or Nere, yeah. It's a Madhouse Entertainment, TMS entertainment show. Spans 26 episodes, and I'm going to read the synopsis here from Anime Planet. Nishi High is known for its famous tennis program and its star female player Reika Ryuzaki, nicknamed Madam Butterfly.
Ocho Fujin.
Ocho Fujin. This is her senior year, and there is a flock of freshman girls joining the tennis team just to be close to their idol. One of these freshmen, Hiromi, is singled out by the new and mysterious Kochi. Coach. Her dedication and natural talent catches his eye and leads him to make her a starting player. Hiromi's talent begins to develop into skill, and as she begins to gain the recognition of her peers, Reika's interest as well as her jealousy is piqued. So it's the journey of Hiromi Oka, learning how to be a good tennis player and to eventually beat the star tennis player of the team, Madam Butterfly.
Ocho Fujin.
Ocho Fujin.
Learning how to take balls to the face.
Learning how to take many a ball to the body and face. And yeah, there is a lot of just simple joking throughout the show for sure.
Ace wo Nerai. Aim for the knockout.
True.
Oh my god.
And I gotta say
I don't
right
like
away,
shoujo anime.
I love the episode titles. So let me just read
It's
a couple
very
here.
dramatic.
Oh
Very
yeah,
dramatic.
they're all confrontation at the tennis court, tears at the
Just a
district
little-
qualifying.
Yeah, just
They're-
before you talk about a little bit about these titles, just to remember this is shoujo.
Oh yeah,
One of the beginning shoujo anime. One of those who contributed to the lolicon culture, but I will save that for the Glass Mask anime. We are doing March 2019. But they are 15 years old. just to put in perspective, they're like 14, 15 years old. Ocho Fujin is like 16. And it's way too dramatic and mature for the age.
Mature, huh? I mean, there's there's some moments of
or I don't know if I always have this feeling that shoujo is always way too mature for the character's age. Especially when I was 15, I was just watching an anime and still thinking fart jokes were fun. So like
they say that girls develop. They say that girls. So
that's true. Well, the cast. That was not the cast. The staff that was involved with with the development of the show is very all-star. As we mentioned at the top of the podcast, Osamu Dezaki is the director, storyboard guy, key animation guy, along with a lot of other key players of the 70s in general. And Dezaki famously did Ashita no Joe. That was his first work. I think it was his first work, but.
And well, I don't know if it's his first work. I think it might have been his first, or one of his first works as director.
Okay, that's what I meant then.
But like, yeah, we've talked about him. We've talked about it once before as well. He is famous for essentially taking the movie approach to animation, because before what was mostly common was animation was kind of just seen as drawings moving. Right, you would draw on a flat piece of paper. Right. It would move. Everything would just go either side to side, and even as rough as it is, what you see, like for example in Aim for the Ace, there's a lot more movement towards the camera. He likes that like circle thing that he does a lot of the time. Where even that's weird. Again, it looks kind of weird, but he likes to push this idea that. Animation was limited to a 2D space or confined to a 2D space, and he liked to challenge that idea and kind of expand on it to make the spacing in the animation 3D, even though you were working with a 2D piece of paper.
Well, the thing you mentioned is the Aim for the Ace was made by one of the oldest studios still in active.
Mm-hmm.
Still making anime. It was made by Tokyo Move, which became Tokyo Movie Studio and then became TMS. It was founded in 1961 or 1964.
Something like that, yes.
Suzuka Pro. It's 1961 because they worked. Tokyo Movie was responsible for the adaptation of a few Osamu Tezuka works. So it's 1961 to present day, with becoming TMS.
Yeah. You also got Madhouse working on this, and Madhouse was nice enough to slip in a little bit of a self-promo in there as a clockmaker.
Right. You definitely had that up there. So, basically, Hiromi, just to get a little piece of the story here, Hiromi just joined the tennis team. Basically just to be part of like the idol group, didn't really just kind of joking around, and the new coach that comes in gets everyone lined up to basically just take his serve, and everyone just no one can return it. They're all scared of the ball, but yet Hiromi shows a flash of something that he likes. So he, for some reason, picks her over anybody else that has been on the team for a few years. Most notably, Madame Butterfly's senior friend. Wasn't she like the ex-captain or something, or the captain of the team?
No. You're talking when he picked her over Kyoko. Yeah, Kyoko is the one that copied, or the one who's got slammed by the coach for her playstyle basically being an imitation of Ocho Fujin's playstyle.
Right, and his reasoning was
the copy can never be better than the original.
Right, and he wants to build a team of individuals, not copycats. And in a way I could understand that, I suppose. But don't you want, if you're gonna play matches, then don't you want your best players on the court? But hey, nope. This is and then as the series progresses, Hiromi faces her, and then faces another opponent, gets into a doubles match with Madame Butterfly there, and
Sure, Fuji.
they all nobody likes the coach. They call him Onikochi.
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 Stop doing that. That was weird when they stopped calling him that.
Which is Hiromi's friend. Which I got a neck out of her because Maki from Kill la Kill was a reference to her. Oh, it was great.
Oh, yeah.
I just realized that. I started laughing.
Yeah. So, and eventually, you know, it all culminates with the 1v1 battle, which is very nice. The show was notably cut in half from the amount of episodes it was needing to be. And when the show was actually going through reruns, that's when the show actually got popular, which led to the show continuing from there. I found that interesting little tidbit, and I haven't seen anything past this original series before.
Me neither. I have some sequel OVAs and a like 80s remake. And there's a movie, like 79.
Oh, I forgot to mention like some of the titles. So here we go. Hit the Black Spy, the blood-dyed turnabout. During the graduation game, tears are useless.
Yeah, and that sure becomes relevant because, oh boy, in the beginning, Oka Hiromi, she is quite the crybaby.
She is very emotional, and emotional with sparkles.
She is a girl.
No one likes her. Everyone thinks she's sleeping with the coach.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta understand, man. She had no talent.
She had no talent, no experience, and yet she got picked as one of the starting 5. Yeah, I'd assume some shit too.
And then they catch her going to a restaurant with him. It's like they're sleeping together, all right.
Oh yeah. But it is the earliest example of Japanese culture, because Hickey, I think you were mentioning it before the cast that during the time, this was the same time when famous
with tennis. In the United States, there was a very good woman tennis player, and one of the main competitors. I don't remember the names. You can look it up because
their names escape me right now.
So
God, I'm ashamed
he
of
was
that.
winning everything, and the guy said, "Well, she's a woman. She can never win against a man. So fuck you all because I'm better because I'm a man. You." And so she challenges him to a match and win. There's a movie about it anyway. They talk about it in the anime because that represents a shift into the sports, how people view women's sport, where before it had this glamour and this finesse. But then they're like, no, the woman needs to play like men. They should have the power of a man. Of course, you know, the strength between a man and a woman, it's comparable. I'm sorry, it's biology. It sells at work at its finest.
So it was Bobby Riggs, the Wimbledon winner, against Margaret Court in 1973.
Yeah,
and then later that year was Billie Jean King, who actually defeated Bobby Riggs in Houston, Texas, at the Astrodome, where I grew up.
Were you there?
I was, in 1973, Tori.
Exactly.
If you have a faster woman, if you have a stronger woman, she most likely will win against other women. And they show that in the end of the show because Onikochi wanted Hiromi not only to be good at it, but he wanted her to train and become muscular and, you know, strong enough to win against any woman.
Yeah, really, endurance being such a major factor in the training, and that does come into the show. That's a major focus, and I liked how because the animation is, you know, from 1973, it's very limited. The camera work, as you said, Tori, it had a lot of the screen coming at the player, but it also focused on Hiromi's legs a lot of the time, of her running and going around the court. I really liked it, and her character art with long, strong legs. You know, there's you can break that down and do a few different ways, whether it be sexy or attractive or powerful. 70s.
Lolicons. Yes.
Yeah, whatever it may be. The character designs were very of its time, for sure.
I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have this.
It's like it was made in the 70s.
But I quite liked it though.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, it's one of those things where, like, if you don't watch old anime, it's like, it takes a bit, but once you get used to it, it's kind of like, the designs aren't that bad. They're just different.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, that's all it is.
You got to accept that limited animation was just the norm at the time. So the fact that stuff isn't incredibly fluid, that's how they did stuff, because that was the only way they could produce a TV anime at the time.
Yeah, it is a great art style. I'm not joking. I joke a lot when I watch shoujo, and which is very rare. I don't enjoy shoujo anime. I think I make the recurring joke that there is a glitch or not, but when you watch Anime for the anime, which also has the only art style available now, which is moe.
Yeah.
So yeah, you also. Things don't sparkle that much. You have a bunch of sparkles, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't sparkle as much getting light out of his own.
No, he did.
And he starts sparkling out of nowhere, like
the galaxy brain before everyone else.
They say something interesting and just a sparkle flies from the eye.
Yep. No, but there's a lot of like old movie and old like drama techniques now that Hickey says is often made fun of, which I think is kind of disingenuous, because a lot of the techniques that are used today, they started here. Like, what you do today is based off of this. I understand that you want to make fun of it because it's old and outdated, but like, it laid the groundwork for what you're doing today.
This also, it's good that you bring that up.
But that's true. That's true. When we see moe anime nowadays, we see a bunch of 14, 15 years old over-sexualized, and people don't understand where it's come from. It's come from old shoujo.
Oh God!
It's history. It's history. It's anime history.
I know, but that's not the point.
It also laid the groundwork for basically the sports anime formula that we see in a lot today of the hard work will prevail over the ability kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're talking about Hanebado. Hanebado conflict. It's basically a Chofujin against Hiromi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Done.
You have the rival, usually from another school, and your main character. And your main character doesn't get along with the rival, or they have a respect, but they're enemies, or the opponents that they meet along the way are portrayed in this like super evil type person. What would be a good example? Yowamushi Pedal. You have Anoda and the other uphill biker guy. They respect each other, but they still want to beat each other. In Ace Aim for the Ace here. Yeah, a lot of the teammates, initially hate Hiromi, but then they grow to respect the hard work she does. She proves herself. She earns her spot. There's no over-the-top villain as much as Hiromi has an obstacle in her way to get to where she wants to be. She discovers that, yes, she does want to be a good tennis player, and these are the people I have to beat. Number one being Madame Butterfly.
Cho Fuji. I'm going to do that every time.
Aside from football and baseball anime, because, they had their own old anime to drink from, I think every modern sport anime you see, you can take out something Aim for the Ace. A few parts of Aim for the Ace reminded me of Dive, that one Olympic diving anime that is not that good.
No, I dropped that shit like a ton of bricks.
But like choosing a few talents to become Olympian. You have the unprepared and rookie guy being trained by a proper trainer. The coach doesn't do shit, but being trained and posing a threat to the homogeneity of the best sportsmen of that team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those kind of things. Everything that is not football and it's not baseball, you can see those things coming to the screen, and everything reminds you of Aim for the Ace, which is very important and something to be proud of when we're talking about anime.
And that is incredible because
it means nothing advanced.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's kind of the thing with it never really changed. But one of the things I still think is very interesting is, like you say, a lot of stuff takes from Aim for the Ace, and a lot of other sports that you say are kind of excluded. They also take from another Osamu Dezaki anime, which is Ashita no Joe.
Right.
So technically, he has a monopoly on the sports genre.
Yeah, you have Ashita no Joe for box anime. You have Captain Tsubasa for football. You have
Major. Oh, we totally forgot to do
the
continuing series talk. We'll do that at the end.
There's a baseball anime before Major, right? And
before Major, yes.
Yeah,
Major is fairly recent. Star the Giants, the first sports anime, the first sports manga, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's baseball.
Which is a baseball one, and here we go. It's every baseball, every baseball anime. It's the same thing.
Before Osamu Dezaki has worked on all. I don't think so.
So a couple things I note. I found from the Wikipedia article actually was where was that interesting tidbit of information? Bear with me here. It's one of the best-selling shoujo manga series of all time, which I
Four Cities.
Yeah. Man,
it is a great shoujo anime. I'm in general, not talking about the sport side of it.
It's great
drama,
for girls.
Here we go.
And then you have the pubescent love thing with a guy who's 15-year-old, but he looks 20. Yeah, it's very it's shoujo. It's a good shoujo. Yeah, it doesn't make you feel like puking.
Yeah, its story's been imitated by other anime to the point that it became a cliche. It established the tradition of the klutzy wallflower hidden potential, the rich bitch who wants all the attention, and the handsome coach with a tragic fate. That's in the Wikipedia article. That's what was funny.
Wow, the rich bitch. Okay, all right.
You're talking about Kanako, right? The one who got excluded from the best four.
I think so. Yeah.
And lost the movement of her arm because fuck it. You must be talking about her because Ocho Fujin wasn't any. She wasn't a bitch.
I mean, she didn't have that moment.
That funny in the wiki article when I read that.
She did have that one moment where she was like, "You either me or tennis." But other than that,
yeah, okay, that was a little bit, but that doesn't make her character.
Kyoko's the bitch.
There's no one. Yeah, Oni Coach was a bitch.
Oh, me too.
So let's get into Oni Coach here. Jin.
Kochi.
Kochi. That's right. It's really funny how they pronounced Coach in the show all the time.
It's cute.
How did you guys feel about his tactics and how he was teaching? I mean, for the show's purposes, personally, he was actually, for the most part, teaching Hiromi the basics and how to return serves and tech.
How to not be knocked out.
How to not be knocked out. He does train them. He's actively participating in training, which is something that, of all the things modern anime, sports anime has taken from these types of shows, they forgot to include the coaches, and that makes me very sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, in modern anime, it's very common for the coach to be like, we got it, guys. We did it, guys. We got the best coach in the country. What does he do? Absolutely fuck all.
Yeah, he just kind of sits there the whole time.
He sits there, and at the end, he's just like, yep, that one was all me. They would never have won if it were not for me.
He teaches them, but he usually is like, run, play this match. And
swing.
Hiromi, he's just serving and swearing at her and saying, you suck, run together, Paul, go. And
he's so only coach.
Cold in the ground, and he's like, I'm going now.
Yep.
Get all the balls together and then fuck you, and goes home. Like,
Don't say that.
That's not teaching. He doesn't teach her anything.
Yep, not much. He practice.
Instead of like you need to, first of all, you need to learn something before you can practice. If he doesn't teach them anything, there's no way for them to practice. That's basic.
I mean, if you want to think about it,
when they are in the match and the coach is like, they need to do that to win, and he doesn't say. He just thinks to himself and just say, "Are you sure
that's
about
the thing
that?
In tennis,
are you
like,
gonna
you
run?
Can't, the coach
are you
can't
running away
talk
from
to
the
player.
match? Are you a chicken?" It's like,
the coach
you're
can't
not
coach
helping at all.
Well, no, in tennis, the coach actually is not allowed to coach during a game.
So, that's what I said.
Why is he there then? I know.
He needs to watch them.
I know,
but I mean,
like, oh come on.
If you think about it,
tips. He gives tips through multiple speeches. All right.
Yeah, he does.
Usually is like, don't run away, you chicken.
Basically, I mean that's half the battle. You know, not running away is half the battle, especially with Hiromi runs away a few times. But one of the things that I think is very interesting is technically the one who taught Hiromi more about her own playstyle than anyone else is Kyoko Otoa, the girl who was quite the bitch towards her, because she fucking analyzed her flaws and noted it down and gave it to her.
Yeah, that is.
Like, here you got what to work on.
And like she had a good redemption story.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It just took her losing the ability of her right arm.
Yeah, she lost the ability of use her right arm and like put everything in perspective for her. And she's like, oh, this is all my fault. Now I have this problem through all my life.
Yeah. Well, you develop tennis elbow way too early. You'll fuck your arm up forever. My brother actually went through something like that for a while. So,
well,
how did you guys like the final confrontation between Hiromi and Ocho Fujin?
It was a fast episode.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty fast.
Because it is a slow burn. Like from Hiromi being chosen, and she doesn't know why she was chosen, and she doesn't want to be chosen because now she's the
Well, she's outcasted and bullied and
she's everything, and she's like, why did you choose me? And Oni coach doesn't give any information as well. He's just like,
nope,
deal with it. It's just like, deal with it. I chose you. I don't care. You're gonna be awesome.
But I don't want it. This isn't what I want. I don't care what you want. It's about what I want, and you should want what I want.
Shut up! Now hit this ball.
I fucking
her in the face. She falls on the ground. Is like,
I fucking love when Kyoko goes to Oni coach. I love when Kyoko goes to Oni coach afterwards, and she said, "Why did you pick her? Why did you fucking drop me?" And he's just like, "You want to know why I dropped you? Yes. Do you want to know why I dropped you? Yes." Go think about why I dropped you, and then come back here, and if you still don't know, I'll tell you. And then she comes back, after thinking about it, still don't know, and he doesn't explain it to her. It's like, what the fuck?
Oni coach is just the best guy.
I think one of the funnier little tiny arcs was when Hiromi's fallen in love with the men's team's ace, Todo-san. And she goes to, like, Oni coach sees it, and he basically gives her the option. Do you want to be good at tennis or do you want to date boys? Well, can't I do both? No, you have to choose.
She has to put her love onto the side.
Yeah, you have to put your love life on the side. You can get married later. It's like, what? Whoa! I just want to, go out on a date with Toto over here.
Can I just say, Toto? He must be the most patient. He must be the most perfect, the most patient guy ever. Because I sure as hell wouldn't wait, and I don't know anyone who would, especially not at that age.
I just know. Toto's just waiting by the lake, and Oni coach just turns on.
She will never come
for you. Damn! Holy shit!
Fucking dude over here ruining this kid's life.
Yeah, I love that. Let me pour all my passion inside of you.
Yeah, the lines were, I don't think those were properly translated in the little fan subs that we have to watch the show.
It was translated well.
Okay.
I just think it's one of those cases where it's been developed into an innuendo by people today, and back then they didn't really consider it an innuendo.
That's probably
you want your passion, right? I'll pour all the passion that I have into you. But if you were to explain that to somebody now, they'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
In the sense he says, like, let me fill you with all my expertise and all the knowledge. Shut up! All the knowledge I've earned with all these years being passionate about tennis, not actually. The passion, like, let me pour my passion into you. Reminds you of a certain act that involves passion sometimes.
No, come on, you're crazy.
Yes, it does remind me of tennis.
If you want to pay someone to do that for you, you can. It's not a problem at all. Most of the time it's paid, at least in my experience. But what I was talking about?
Tennis.
Yeah, prostitutes. Then then anyway, it got translated. It didn't get translated badly. It's just that people nowadays suck and they like jokes like that, I guess.
Dude, I can no longer say, I watched the show from 1969 because people just 69.
Yeah, that is.
I hate people.
But yeah, like. Anyway,
the summer of 69.
Slowborn when it comes to Hiromi, you see her progression. She goes from not being able to stand, being tortured by the members of the team, to get recognized, winning champion, making
being able to be tortured.
Yeah, she got. There's one moment where she's knocked out by Oni coach. And then he just serves again, and she's in the ground, and the ball just hits her anyway. I was like, holy fuck, coach. But anyway, then when you get to the end, and she's about to be cut off of that training camp, she needs to make a decision, and her decision is, I want to devote myself to tennis. So you have that last match with Ocho Fujin, where Ocho Fujin is like, I cannot lose to Hiromi. I am the best. I need to prove I am the best, and no one will surpass me because I've been in this position for so long, and I like this position. I won't lose to her. And then you have, in the other hand, Hiromi going, tennis is all I have right now. I gave up my love. I gave up my life because of tennis. So then you have the two sides colliding, and that is shown after that, because with the match progressing, all the fuel that has been slow burning until now just instantly catches up on fire. And then you have Ochofujin getting cramps because she doesn't have the strength of Hiromi, because Hiromi is trained to play like a man. And Hiromi wants so much, and she has so much strength in her that she doesn't know how to react to it. Her body doesn't know how to react to it, and so her hand is just bleeding out because how strong she's holding the racket.
Yeah, the friction from the racket.
It is very good. Like when she's
no pain, no gain in this show.
When she's tying her hand to the racket, I was like, dude, this is alone one of the best scenes I ever seen.
I felt genuinely sorry for her And this is kind of one of those nice things, right? I felt generally sorry for her when she had to do it. Not only because she had to fucking bandage her arm, but because she has to do it by herself. One hand on the fucking rack, getting another arm fucking tying the bandage up, using her mouth and everything. I'm like, damn. They've always kind of highlighted out on the tennis court, you're alone. Well, that was kind of like, oh shit. She has to treat her own injuries.
I enjoy this kind of sacrifice. So, like, Ochofujin, her sacrifice is not that visible because it's more of a physical thing. She cannot compete in endurance with Hiromi. But Hiromi just tying her hand to the bracket was like the cherry on the top of the ice cream. That was great.
Yeah. No, I also love that scene where, one of the guys, he runs over to Munakata, to Kochi, and he runs over to him and just goes like, okay, I get your point, but we need to stop this match. Or Chofujin could get seriously injured. And he just looks and says like, how would you, like, how can you suggest that we do that to them by ending this match? This has nothing to do with us anymore. This is between them. And I was just like, yeah, you know what? That's the best thing you said all series, because it's true. This has nothing to do with anything. This is the match between them. If this was an official match, no one would stop it just because they were hurt.
Right. So, Aim for the Ace, I really enjoyed much more so than I figured I was when I first started it, and by the end, I was really into the character Hiromi, the journey that she went through, and I'd be interested in continuing the series for sure.
Same.
I ended up
I'm
giving.
absolutely going to watch the sequels.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to have to revisit the show on a future podcast episode. Are we ready to score this sucker?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. I ended up giving it a 7 out of 10. Who wants to go next?
I gave it an 8.
Ooh.
There's a lot of shoujo tropes I don't like, but since it's one of the first ones, they are not as prominent or not as exaggerated as modern-ish shoujo. So they don't bother me that much. Also, the conclusion is very good with shoujo. Usually you either have something very dramatic when it comes to love and like giving up love, or the person gives up everything for the love. And this one, it's not dramatic, and Hiromi shows a lot of strength, a lot of character strength when choosing what she wants.
Yeah. For me, the beginning was definitely kind of a test of endurance. I did not like Hiromi at all in the beginning. She was just like, this girl is way too overbearing for me. It was a real test of my patience, but I came through, and by the end, I really liked the show. And I ended up giving it a 7. Also, JD, I found a review by you here on Mal.
Yeah, from like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
No, I rewatched the show and I gave it a better score.
You better.
No, when I first watched a couple of years ago, I was just into the whole starting that quest in the 70s thing, and rewatching the show for the podcast, I appreciate it even more now. So gave it a nice little podcast bump.
Nah, man, so you're never allowed to change your opinion. That's what the internet says.
Oh, give me a break.
69.
Am I the only one that's reviewed that on my anime list? Reviewed the show?
Of course not. But they all came after you. Well, 2015. Well, yeah, after you.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm doing my job.
2015, 2016, 2016.
June 2015, May. Yeah, just shortly after me.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, I was first. More reviews. JD's inferiority complexes kicking in. You were not not 2018. No, you were first. I was first. I was first on Mal to review the show. Hell yeah. And that was one of the first ones, so obviously it's not very good. It's not a good review.
And yet, I was about to say, and yet you're the least popular one here.
I'm the least popular one for a reason. So yeah, that was Aim for the Ace. Very surprisingly good show. Even for
the Ace Gunbuster. It was fun.
So I'm going to play one quick drop here, and we can do a little rapid fire at the end. Alright, so we're going to finish out the cast by just some quick thoughts over shows that are continuing. Tori, quick thoughts over Banana Fish.
Banana Fish got very overdramatic and tried to push the limits of whatever it could do way too hard. Broke me hard. Drop.
Yeah, I like the gangster aspect. I love I like the drugs and murder and all that stuff going on.
Of course you like the drugs.
Yeah, well. The gay stuff in the show I can see being a turnoff for a lot of people. It's not being portrayed well. Every gangster wanting the butthole is really odd to me. I mean, it shouldn't come off as comical, that's for sure. It's definitely one of the more interesting shows for me personally, but I can totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, that's pretty much the general consensus on the show. Hickey, are you watching Banana Fish?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Gay drug overlords being fine, transitioning to conspiracy theories with military governments and mind control drugs wasn't that good of a shift. So I still have to watch episode 12 or 13. I don't know if I will. I will decide in the next days.
Okay, fair enough. I really don't like the main Japanese character in the show. I think he's a waste of time.
AG
is just a total waste.
But he's such a cutie pie.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, he's just there to be a clock slave eventually.
Yeah, he's yeah, exactly. Well said, Hickey. All right, Attack on Titan Season 3.
Haven't watched it, won't watch it. I don't like the Attack on Titan.
Fair enough. Tori?
It's better than Season 2. I'll say that much.
I agree. I like the political standpoint in the show. I was hoping they'd go a little bit more in depth into it personally.
I love the fucking sudden like explanation. By the way, there's this family that has mind control powers. Of course they do.
Of course they do. Yeah.
Fucking
I mean,
cool.
No one ever said the writing in Attack on Titan was rock solid.
Really?
I do think it looks a lot better than Season 2 as well. And the action scenes are better as well. Yeah, I don't really like this whole original king with the mind control power. I don't like that too much.
Why every anime resorts to mind control and psychic powers?
Because then it can eventually turn to the hentai that it always would be.
Right. Alrighty.
That is yeah.
My Hero Academia Season 3.
Woo!
I chose to not watch it because I didn't have time, and now I'm just waiting.
Fair enough.
A little bit more when I have a few more time.
As surprised no one. Season 4 has been announced, so there will be even more. And I'm very excited. Season 2 is a bit of a step down. Oh, sorry, Season 3. Season 3.
Yeah, Season 4.
Season 3 is a bit of a step down from Season 2 for me, but not by much, and I still highly enjoyed it.
I still think the guy who wrote My Hero Academia is not very good.
Yeah, but you're wrong, so that's fine.
I'm not sure how I feel about this Deku kind of ruining his arm in such a way. I'm still on the fence about it. I do like how the show's getting him to change his style and basically stop trying to mimic All Might. I do like the show emphasizing that's part of his development. Let's see, the test, the hero license test, I didn't like at all. I kind of just went through the motions on it.
I thought it was good. I thought it was kind of good. Like, it's not the greatest. It suffers from being after that tournament arc, and I really like that goddamn tournament.
I figured there'd be more to the test. I figured there'd be more to the test, you know? Instead of just, here's here's a destroyed area, and they're all helping out things, and then...
Oh yeah, now they're living together as well.
Yeah, it's not
So
flowing right with me.
Between characters. Yeah. I've read the manga, by the way.
No, I know you have. Them moving together also makes sense due to the kind of off-campus things that's been going on, and in order to make sure that they can actually keep their students safe, they need to keep them close.
Yeah.
The whole thing with All Might and his showdown with the All for One, that was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, the showdown is really good. I can give you that. That is probably my favorite part in the manga.
All right. Since I know you two aren't watching this, Black Clover, right quick.
Bad.
Underwater Temple arc was fun to watch, but every fight had this issue of just being immediately ending, and out of nowhere these characters would have the big power up moment. The show is loving that too much. So that's Black Clover. It's
bad.
It's disgusting. But at least for what I've seen from a few spoilers to Crunchyroll, loving spoilers on Twitter, it seems it gained a little bit of individuality as a series.
Yes, yeah, it's broken off. It's broken off from the beginning, where it was kind of like a fairy tale Naruto hybrid. Now it's
Hunter x Hunter. You can put Hunter x Hunter inside of that as well.
You can put anything inside of it.
Keep adding Shonen to the mix.
Now it's become more Hunter x Hunter.
I mean, there's still an overemphasis on the slapstick comedy in Black Clover, which I'm not totally a fan of. Yeah, and I wish the show would get to Asta actually being something more than just he'll never give up attitude. That's too much. He seems still too worthless as a main character right now.
Does he stop screaming?
Yeah, he's calmed down quite a lot. Yeah,
that's not the answer I wanted. Okay.
Well, it's a show. It's a battle shonen, so all the main characters scream uncontrollably a lot of the times.
Obviously.
In the sense of from that first or second, that I want to say the first 9 episodes. Yes, it's heavily been reduced to his over the top screaming.
I can only assume that is because they've gotten so many complaints on Twitter and whatnot. There, fine.
Probably that's probably it. All right, last one, Captain Tsubasa.
I really gotta say, first of all, thank you, Captain Tsubasa, for showing that goalkeepers can actually do a job. I'm so sick of fucking football anime where the goalkeeper's literally just there to be scored on. That being said, I really would appreciate it if you would stop dragging out every single match. Please and thank you if you stop doing that. I know, but we don't need a single episode dedicated to the last 5 minutes of it. There is one of those things there's one thing, ending on a cliffhanger and extending something in order to create more hype, create more excitement. But when you just keep doing that and fucking for every episode, let's extend the match even a little bit further and a little bit further. It's eventually I'm just sitting here going can we just finish already? We already know what's going to happen. Just end, please.
The show, I think my major complaint about Captain Tsubasa, don't get me wrong, I vastly enjoy the show. I do, Tori, I am totally on your side with the finally goalies can actually keep the ball out of the net. Even though it's kind of over the top, but that's okay. It's anime. I don't like how every match always has to come down to the very last second, or they're down by 2 goals and there's a minute left, and I mean, it does happen, but every single match is that.
I know! I've been saying this for so long, right? I don't care how much people say, well, there's been a study suggesting people like the fight, like when a match is ended by the final couple seconds. Yes! I really do that when something dramatic happens at the end. When I'm sitting through a 90-minute football match where I'm invested throughout the entire thing, and it has some sort of shock turn at the end. That is very exciting. But when you try to condense that down and basically have everything of interest happen in the final couple of seconds, then it's just dumb because it becomes like that JoJo's problem where it's like you know, from early JoJo's where it's we're falling from this cliff. We're 10 seconds from hitting the ground. We need to figure out something, and this keeps going for like 5-10 minutes. Just like, but we've got to remember, it's just a 10-second fall. It's like this is so. I have to suspend my disbelief so much to believe that these seconds are not fucking counting every second.
My complaint of remastered Captain Tsubasa is that we will never see Oliver Tsubasa against Oliver Kahn match. That was one of the greatest. Yeah, that was one of the greatest matches in OG Captain Tsubasa.
I also don't like how it's kind of like for everything they did to try to make this more modern. Like obviously it's not set in the same time period and whatnot. I really don't like that they kind of forgot to update the fucking football rules.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
They still follow fucking 60s football rules. I'm like, no, that's not how it works anymore.
Yeah, you can just slaughter someone's ankle, and as long as you went for the ball, it's okay.
Literally doesn't even matter if you fucking clip them down. It's like, well, he went for the ball. It's okay. He tried.
They're playing the game.
You can kick the goalkeeper while he's down. That rule they got rid of so many years ago after that one goalkeeper died because he got kicked in the head.
Yeah. They're just playing the match, and then the judge just stops and go check the fucking virtual.
Come to think of it, have we seen a single yellow card in Captain Tsubasa yet?
No.
I don't think so
No,
either.
they're not.
Even though we've seen guys like get
have we even
kicked
seen
in
a
the
free kick?
No, I don't think so of that either.
See, that kind of surprises me because I think that's something they would do. Have a free kick in there every once in a while. Everybody likes a good free kick.
No, because it's like the other thing that it has an issue doing. Again, we do enjoy the show. There's just a lot of like issues. Is they are elementary kids, and I totally get it. I remember seeing. Because elementary kids playing football, at least here in the States, is hilarious. It's like a flock of bees all going to the ball at the same time.
I mean, they do that, so that's true.
I mean, no. In your country, in mine is organized.
Yeah, I imagine in Brazil, where it's like a football mecca.
In Brazil, everybody's fucking there doing crazy skills at the age of 4.
At 4 years old. While here in America, it's I'm on the baseball field looking at a flock of bees chase a ball.
Yeah, I mean they do that in Captain Tsubasa. It's kind of like no position means anything. It's like every time Tsubasa attacks, the striker of the opposing team is down there to defend him, while the rest of the team is upfield. It's like, how does this work? What the fuck kind of tactical mismatch did you come up with? To have the defense and attack.
They just flock to the ball, every single player.
Yep. I like it though. The fucking Mayweather's a fucking sliding storm. Fuck it's called. I'm like, that is the most inefficient way to win the ball back I have ever seen.
Yeah, just kick it in the air to the other side of the field where your teammate is, but he's probably actually right next to him if you're thinking about elementary kids playing football in Japan.
Probably. And I don't like this whole thing. It's like, again, remember how you say, oh, they're willing to put their career at risk. So are these kids. They're elementary school kids. Someone fucking stop them!
Exactly. Yeah, there was one guy. I think the funniest thing, and it's not supposed to be funny, was the kid with heart disease.
Dude, he could have died. He almost died on field. And they were like, "Should we sub him?" No. He needs to do this.
He needs this in his life. And he's like clutching his chest on the ground. He goes blind at one point.
Yeah. It's incredible. You even had the other dude, you know.
Oh god.
You have the other dude in the golden dude. He fucking, after being tackled so hard and having basically, I don't know what the fuck he's done, but he has hurt his ankle something fierce. He's at least sprained it. And then just to fucking add insult to injury,
they said he had like a bone split or something.
Something like that. And just add fucking insult to injury at the end there. He runs into the fucking post head first to clear the ball. It's like, take it easy, man.
You're in elementary school. There will be another game.
And also that Tsubasa can go to Brazil, and then the coach is just like, sorry, I can't keep my promise. I'm like, fuck you! They risked their goddamn careers for this, and you're just gonna leave?
Some their lives.
Wow.
All right. That's a good place for this episode to end. That's fantastic. This has been the Red Leaf Retrocast Worldwide Weebs Edition, episode 34. Aim for the ace with the summer anime reviews. Great episode, guys. I had a lot of fun. Definitely look for more live streams at Red Leaf Retrocast YouTube, Twitch, Mixer at BowlingJD, and hit us up on Twitter for any anime suggestions that you'd like us to review from the past. Remember the rule, 15 years from today's date. And yeah, go if you enjoyed the episode, definitely go hit us up on iTunes and Stitcher, Red Leaf Retrocast. Leave us a nice little review. Or criticize the hell out of us. We don't care.
Yes.
Yes. So, see you guys in the next one.
Kochi!
Kochi! Onikochi! Oh boy. Alright. Fun episode.
I hated it.
You hated it. This sucks.
Terrible. Why do we do this?
Oh, we do this.
So unorganized. Jesus, we said we were going to do something, and then we didn't do it, and then we did it at the end. What the hell, man?
Oh my god. Horrible.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Let's see. Anime cast.
Oh, I think we're gonna get a pizza tonight.
Fuck you, JD. I'm not calling it aim for the ace.
I'm calling it aim for the ace.
Gunbuster!
I love that. That was the first thing I thought about when you said, did you expect this from aim for the ace? And I'm like, yes. I watched Gunbuster.
Get the ball! I love when he coaches.
I still can't decide what's more silly: the fucking coaching of Onikoch in Aim for the Ace, or the fucking push-ups done in the robots in Gunbuster. What's more silly?
the push-up in the Gunbuster. There's no way. That is way too dumb.
We need to train your strength. How the fuck? We're robots. I understand.
No, if you want to ask me if what is more dumb, the push-ups, the robot push-ups in Gunbuster, or people aiming for a fucking knockout in a tennis match,
I still give it to the robots.
Man, I can think about it because it's like winning by knockout in a fucking tennis match. I was like, there's something wrong with this. I'm not a big I'm not a big tennis guy, but you cannot win by knockout in this sport.
I'm just picturing them fucking lining them up. Fucking game, set, match. Ochofujin wins by TKO.
Like they play. Hiromi fails and lose. Then the guy just game won by Hiromi, technical knockout. Like won by points. Like the judges decided that he hit more balls than the opponent.
They're sitting there at the end with a fucking like ringside gongs. You're going ding ding ding.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so dumb. Why they kept doing that? Hiromi, in every match Hiromi played, I think she spent more time in the ground than actually playing it.
Yeah, she did. I counted. Not really.
And it was the same animation as well.
Yeah. Welcome to the 70s.
Oh,
how many times can you spot the same piece of animation? My guess, quite a lot of times.
That's okay.
Maki was a great character. I just every time she appeared on screen, I was like, "Oh, Kill la Kill." A show I will never rewatch.
Oh, Kill la Kill. I don't remember too much. There wasn't even any mother-daughter incest in Aim for the Ace. Come on.
What is this, Hanebado?
No, Kill la Kill.
I don't know. Hanebado is just there's no incest. It's just
There is no incest. There's just hatred.
there's a lot of
There's only
fuckery.
hatred.
Yeah, there's a lot of fuckery and hate fuck, but
Fuckery.
Hate fuck.
not a lot of incest.
I still love that fucking romance thing though between that one girl and that one. It's just like, I think I like you. Well, actually, I think I'm just jealous of your of the work you put into playing badminton. I guess really all I care about is badminton. Goodbye. It's like, wow,
Dude, Hanebado was so seriously, JD. Watch Hanebado and watch Shoujo Kageki's story. Like, you won't be disappointed. I swear.
Oh boy.
Hanebado is just people were just assholes.
when you go into episode 1 of Hanebado, what you're going to be
You go
greatest
you go
animated
into
piece of fucking badminton animation you've ever seen.
yeah. You go
And
on
then the rest of the
episode
show
1 and
happens.
you go like you go on episode 1 and you're like, holy shit, this Aragaki girl, she's a piece of shit. She's an asshole. But then the Gothic Lolita appears and they're like, holy fuck, this one is way bigger of a cunt. And then Connie appears and she doesn't do a good job because she's way ahead of the curve, being an asshole. But then the mother appears and you're like, holy fuck, the mother is actually the biggest asshole of all. But then Connie comes back for her redemption story, and the redemption story only tells you she's a way bigger of a cunt than you think she is. So like, okay, maybe Connie is the worst one. But then the mother comes back from Denmark after abandoning fucking Hanesaki for 10 years and go like, hi, you want to come to Denmark with me? It's like,
Hey, we got a new follower on Twitch at the end of the podcast there.
Nice. You also got to remember.
Retrocast.
Okay.
Nice, thank you, sir.
Oh my god, what's her name? Oh my god, what's the main character's name? I forget.
Hanesaki.
Hanasaki.
Let's see if
You
that
gotta
actually-
remember, she fucking broke in that show. Literally.
She's broken as
Dead
fuck.
eyes and
She
everything.
got autism. And
Yeah.
she's broken. Like, no
And that-
joke. She's
Came up in the box
mentally
there.
unstable. She can't have a normal life in society.
I've told you that. I read the fucking manga. She's broken as hell.
She's